I'm gonna talk about a place where I used to go at, where I got my deliverance at, you know. You see, it was on Wednesday morning when I truly got my deliverance on it. Every time I think about it, I truly can say it was on Wednesday morning. You see, Bishop Sanders got a preacher out, and then I came in and I shouted, all right, it was okay. It happened on Wednesday morning that day. Now and every time I think about it, I just want to cry. I just want people to know that you can be saved and don't live a lie. Now every time you look at me, you can truly see what I'm gonna be. I'm the truth, trying to do it right, don't you see? It was on Wednesday morning where I got that thing. Can I skate? Da da ba 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 bo bo boo boo baby. Sip silly with that da 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 da. Da da ba bo 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 ba da da. Da da bo 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 ba da. Dip ba da ba bo bo be da. Sip silly with that da ba ba bo boom baby. Sip da 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 ba da da ba do ba da da do re. Ba-do-bo-dee, sit-dee-dee-da, ba-da-ba-do-bo-dee, ba-da-ba-do-bo-do-bo-do, ba-da-ba-do-bo-do-bo-do, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, see-dee-da-dee-da-dee-ray, da-da-bo-do-bo-do-bo-do-da-dee-day, ba-ba-boo-boo-bee-boo-boo-bee-doo-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee, sit-dee-dee-da-dee-da, sit-dee-dee-da-dee-da, sit-dee-dee-da-dee-da. It was on Wednesday morning that it happened. It was on Wednesday morning that it truly happened. Now I got my praise on. Now I know that I won't do wrong. Now I know that He is the one. Now I know that He is the Son. Wednesday morning is Wednesday morning. 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 It was Wednesday morning. It happened on Wednesday morning. That's tight. Yeah. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. Hey, family. How are y'all doing? Welcome to the Brother Show tonight. Hey, don't see. There you go. There you go. See, this is the problem. You just heard a sacred song just over there. Then you want to do some harm to me. That's the problem that we got the brother. Yeah, okay, all right, nigga, all right, okay. But that song, one of my pastors, bishop from back in the day, Apostle Joan B. Sanders, passed away this week, and I wrote that song for her in 2004. Me, Mark Copeland, Chuck the bass man, Lester Wallace was on the drums. Mark Copeland is on the organ, and Eric Dennis is on the keys. And we had such a wonderful. I made it up on the spot, and we just called it Wednesday morning because Wednesday morning, matter of fact, the riot happened on a Wednesday morning at the Annex, and May the 7th. That was on the Wednesday. Well, we're going to reflect on tonight. So, yeah, back to correction. This is life after lockup. So, you know, so I'm paying homage to her. She was such a wonderful woman that really helped me to be delivered. She is the mother of me being in the ministry, and I will miss her a lot. I just love going back to the anniversaries, going back home to see all my El Bethel City of Praise folk that were there. So we just thank God for her life, for her ministry, the City of Praise family. They're still my family, and I just thank God for everybody I've met there through the years. She will be truly missed. She is definitely a prayer warrior, and that's why she is the reason why I pray every day and confess. Amen. And so I just thank God for her life, for what she has done for me in ministry, even to all my friends when I came there, and praying for Ruby and the other sister and everybody else, and the grandchildren and Dennis and you know, just everybody. I'm just praying for y'all and love you all. So whatever you need from me, I'm here. Mix Station is here. So I might do another show having some more people here if we can get it together. Okay? All right, y'all. So tonight's subject is about life after lockup. And I have family members here. My brother is here because if anybody don't know, we both were in corrections. He was downtown and I was in Jessup. And a lot of things I did out in Jessup followed him downtown when he became a correctional officer. Some people didn't like me out in Jessup, and they took it out on him when he got downtown. So that's another story. Hopefully we won't go over that tonight. But we will leave that alone. This young man that is right here. Are you saying something, Marcus? You just
yeah, I'm gonna say a little bit. Okay. No, see, I'm getting set up so I don't have to do too much running.
Okay. Amen. Amen. Don't hit. Okay. Don't hit the table no more. Thank God.
You know what? I'm gonna say the first cut word.
Okay. Well, this
I'm in my jail mode. I'm back on T section.
Oh Lord, don't talk about that.
When I'm back on T section, I say fuck you.
Oh Lord. Oh Jesus, he done cuts me out already. You know I got sensitive feelings. You know I'm sensitive.
What did you say on B section?
Yeah.
Shut them down.
So it's going to be some radical stuff said tonight. I have, you did run for mayor, right, Ralph? Amen. See, Ralph Johnson, he come prepared. See, he just give me the whole thing. You want me to say all this? I can say all this.
No, you just.
I'm gonna say Ralphie Johnson for mayor, Democrat, born and raised in Baltimore City, 8-year Army veteran, retired correctional sergeant. Yes, you are. Own publishing company, critical city hall analyst, citywide activist, accepts no money from status quo entities. You know what I'm saying? Like entities. My fault. Equally invested
jail
mentality.
Hanging on the section, listening to those jailhouse lawyers, right? Good vocabulary.
Equally investing in all of Baltimore. Welcome, Ralph. And beside him is my cousin Brandon. I ain't gonna say your whole name. I'm just gonna say Brandon.
Picasso.
Picasso. Picasso.
World famous.
Brandon is an artist. He's everything. Brandon just does it all. He does T-shirts. His daughter does T-shirts, and which he never hooked me up with.
Nigga.
And he does everything. And he's a teacher for Baltimore City. He is a teacher. So up at what school? Mervo?
Carver.
Oh, is it Carver? Yeah. Oh man, you big time. Okay, my God. Okay, go ahead, brother. Amen.
I'm in the city.
Oh, you're in the city.
The inner city Carver.
Well, they both the same, right?
No, it's a carve-out county.
It's carve out the county.
The best carver in the city.
But best carver in the city.
That's what we say.
Vocational high school, man.
Right, there you go.
Vocational
Okay,
high
all right,
school.
then that's the one. Shucks, forget all the rest. And next to him is a good, fine friend. I work with him in the hospital. We're not going to name what hospital we work at, but his name is Jerry Gross, and he was one of my clients at the Annex. Amen. I didn't know that he knew my brother and Ralph, but, it is what it is. Amen. So we're going to be talking from the perspective of life after lockup. I'm going to start with the cats that really did time, and that's Jerry and Brandon. And I'm going to start with you, Brandon. We're not going to go into what everybody did. I'm not going to that. But the life after being in. Because I think during the time when you was doing whatever you was doing, I probably was either still doing college. I don't even think I was even correctional officer. Yeah, I wasn't even a correctional officer.
Yeah, Brandon started at an early age.
Yeah, he started early. Him and Bubbles.
Yeah, my first one was 91.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I was in college. I was still in college.
Damn, I just got some pussy in 91.
Hey, come up to the mic.
Talk to the mic.
I mean,
since you got that mask on.
No, I can take it off.
Well, take it off then.
I didn't want to make nobody uncomfortable.
No, that's
got
you
ours
asked
on,
them.
so you good.
Yeah, so basically, like I say, in and out for whatever. I'm, hustling and whatever the case.
Right, but right.
5 months here, 6 months there, this, that, and the third. And then when I first got time, that was in 95.
Wow, so you was getting time when I was going in.
Yeah.
When I was going in.
It's funny part.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. I was on the box, and I caught some the 91 raid. That's what I got caught. I went and got probation for with Judge Johnson.
Gotcha.
So I'm sitting there on the box. I violated.
Okay.
So so had a court date. So I'm on the box, whatever. I go there. Everybody tell me, you never got in trouble before. He gonna reinstate you.
Right.
So a person like me, I'm thinking, okay, this is my first time really going into the system, so I might get some leniency. Your cousin, that day before I went to court,
Bubbles.
yeah, he kept, man, you going to jail. You going to jail.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go to court, me and my great grandmother now. And
Granny.
Judge Johnson say, he
Francis.
said, Mr. Lee, who you know I don't know. I'm like, what you talking about? He said, since you've been on my probation, you've been locked up for conspiracy, beat it. You've been locked up New York, transportation, beat it. You've been locked up such, beat it. Who do you know out? I said, it wasn't me. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
He said, well, I'm going to put you in the right place. He said, I'm gonna
What is it? Funny now, man.
yeah, I'm gonna take this 5 years. You're lucky I didn't give you the 8 because I had 8 suspended.
Wow.
He said, take this 5 years and hopefully I saved your life in 5 years. Right? So
Wow.
I'm just looking like what the heck?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then they sent me back over city jail, sitting over there for a while, and that's when rest in peace, Miss Poochie came. She was working over the jail.
I didn't know Poochie was working over the jail.
She used to come see me all the time.
Wow.
So I get
That's
the
our
news.
other cousin, aunt cousin, yeah.
I get the news. Same person tell me I'm going to jail. He on his way to jail. He just blasé.
He just blasé talking about you, right?
No, yeah, he just talking about me, and he just got himself in a world of his case.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Y'all know. I wish he was
we
here
know
to
the
say
case,
I'd
right,
rather him
right.
tell it.
Yeah, we ain't gonna tell the case, right.
I'm like, what the heck? This man was just talking about me that he great go for real.
For real.
So I'm gonna tell you about the jail thing. That's all I'm gonna say. when I look at people today and how they, like, these guys glorified, it's corny to me.
Yeah.
Because I never had a problem in it. I mean, and like I say, I'm gonna say, when I was in 91, we was over the annex over the city jail. Mm-hmm. I've seen people get hurt. I'm talking about, it was like TV. I'm talking about hitting the neck, stuff coming out like the movies.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Anybody, and I tell people, anybody sit down there and can glorify that. I might not have no problem, but I'm sitting there and you still witnessing it, and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
And you can't really jump into too much stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to worry about what you got to do for yourself.
So true.
So, you know, and it's just like their mindsets, man, like these kids today, mindsets thinking this stuff cool. It's not. And it ain't about being no sucker, soft or nothing, because I ain't never been soft. But I just, when I look at the mentalities and the things that they enjoy out of life, like, you know, the old saying, like, it's like things that you used to like, you just don't like no more.
Yeah.
It's like none, it's about progression, it's about growing. If you don't grow, what's the use of living?
Right.
You got to evolve. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff happen, and then my thing is all the stuff that you can do in jail, you can do on the streets.
So true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so true.
You know, I mean, and some of the stuff we take risks for, like back then in the 90s, the money, I'm not going to lie, the money was ridiculous.
It was.
The money ain't ridiculous now. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Everybody's
starving.
The reward ain't worth the risk.
No.
You know what I'm
COVID
saying?
is here,
I'm
baby.
being honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, you got to think. I was 19 when I first when we got raided.
Wow.
Making $3,500 and $4,000 a day was crazy.
Jesus.
As a kid.
As a kid.
That's not an adult.
Yeah.
You ain't got no adults making that. You know what I'm saying? Al
Right.
Block was, like, they had us on a 6-month investigation. And I was green to it. I ain't know nothing about it. I swear to God, this is what happened. I got in trouble down here. My mom sent me up Jersey with my uncle.
Wow.
I came back down here because I got in trouble.
I remember you going
I got in
up to
trouble up
Jersey,
there.
yeah.
My uncle sent me back. I got around my neighborhood, and I asked my uncle, he was rest his soul, he was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all still doing such and such? Man, I'm going to take this neighborhood over. And I just started working, and the people I was working for, it was a front for something else. And everything just panned out.
Wow.
I mean, that street life.
I got you.
But, you know, but I'm going to be honest with you. My first time going in was my foolishness. Because the people put word to me is, no, we ain't doing nothing. Something great happened. We ain't doing nothing. I seen what was out there. I remember the day like March the 3rd, 1991. It was so much
Man,
money.
you mentioned the day, boy.
No, it was so much money out there.
You was like, look, I'm getting this.
I ain't waiting for nothing. I took my own cash, went and bought something. I found a neighborhood thing. Teach me how to fry this up. And I went out there and I paid for it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, my thing is, like, in the process, man, I'm like, I say thing with jail, I lost so many people by the system or by the drugs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, none of that stuff is, to me, it's nothing to glorify. You know what I mean? You got people in prison. I'm gonna tell you one time I was locked up. The dude, it made me sick to my heart. This man had $100 bail and couldn't get out.
Wow.
I'm talking about my bail's always been $150,000 on up to no bails, and people still try to find a way to get me out. And I had to tell him, like, you sitting up here trying to be slick and you can't get out with $100 bail. I got that in my commissary. You know, but it's just the mindset, the mindset that we have that we've been brainwashed for years to think this type of stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you think about the past, we've been, even our ancestors as slaves, been in shackles. Why do you want to be in shackles? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now they shackling us up here.
Yeah.
Everything's up here now. But I mean, like, I'm gonna tell you one thing it does do. If you really messed up, I mean, when they sit you down, gives you time to think. Gives you time to realize stuff, especially if you got people out there you love. You know what I'm saying? Like, my great-grandmother was my heart. In 91, when I got raided, my grandfather, my mom's father, he kept us together. I was with him 2 days before we got raided. I was at the hospital. He had cancer.
Wow.
When we got locked up, he died.
Wow, I did
You know what
not
I'm saying?
know that.
So that really, I'm talking about, and we look crazy. Just imagine the annex, you know, is a dorm.
Mm-hmm.
You got me and my cousin locked up. We got 2 guys laying in the same bed, upside in the jail. You know what I mean? We heard our grandfather did. People don't know that they just see, I'm at the top of the bunk, he at the bottom bunk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Grieving. But if it wasn't for other people that knew us and found out what happened,
Right.
but it just
It
looked
took
crazy.
it another
You know what I'm saying?
level,
But
right.
I'm gonna tell you, every time I got locked up or went to jail or whatever, I lost something precious. You know what I mean? You lose a part of you. You may gain some other things. I mean, like, I learned this, like, now, before I go out there, I have, like I say, he just said, I do graphics, I paint pictures, I used to rap and stuff. I still write poetry. I'm
That's true.
writing a
You
book
did
right
rap.
now.
Amen.
I'm working on a
Thank
book
God.
right now called Broke Because of Me.
Mm.
And it's like,
Mm.
so,
Gotta hear that, sir.
see, yeah, no, let me tell you the premise of that.
sir.
And this what people don't get. Like in life, we always blaming people for what happened to us. Things going to happen to you. People going to be the cause. Some going to be the cause or the catalyst of you getting in trouble, or you losing whatever, or breaking your heart. It's what you do after it. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing is this: I'm broke because I chose to gamble my money away. I chose to keep doing this study. I chose to not take certain chances.
So you taking accountability?
Yeah,
for your
taking
actions.
accountability. That's all it is.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of things. I was presented opportunities. I was too scared to take them opportunities. I'm trying to stay here. And, like, I used to be with Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff and them. My cousin produced for him. You know,
Wow.
I could have stayed up there with them, but I wanted to be with this woman. Had a kid. I ain't with this woman now. We cool, but I mean, like, I stunted my growth to try to please someone else. So when I say broke because of me, I'm not going to look at what actually the reason. I mean, the thing is, I'm looking at the fact that I allowed myself to stay in these positions, or my fault for banging on TV.
No.
Stay
It
in
say
these
don't
The
bang
table
on the
don't
table,
fight back.
though.
Stay,
But it say don't bang on the table. though.
stay in these positions.
Read the
or-
sign.
People get passionate. They get
Yeah.
passionate.
Signs of aggression.
Or not do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Stupid. Not supposed, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't like when people like. Me and my little brother going into this now. He always want to blame everybody for what
He going through.
he's going through.
So true.
But my thing is, okay, she's going to be who she is, but you're still putting yourself in that position. So you can't. After a while, it's like this: if your girlfriend getting high, or your brother, and you keep on enabling them. When does it become your problem and not his no more? He's going to be, or she's going to be who they're going to be.
Right.
And now, once you keep on putting yourself in that position to be the one that helped them and stuff, because another thing, a lot of times I was always the one making sure everybody, even in the streets, making sure everybody was good. If I'm eating, they got to eat.
Right.
But if I would have left them and stayed with the other people that was off, I'd probably be better off. But you know what I mean? I'm saying I want to hold myself accountable, and that's all this book is contained. But it's hitting from the streets. It's hitting from regular business life. I'm hitting from every angle. Family.
Right.
I'm not just focusing on one thing, because I don't like the little what I call hood books. Only just talking about. I wanted to touch people in a lot of different ways. You know, but a lot of people don't like listening. They want to always. We want to always take accountability for our greatness, but not our failures. None of our failures.
And just to use that premise, you have a lot of people that say that they do not think that Donald Trump should be in office. These are the same people that never registered to vote.
Exactly.
So true.
Real
So
talk.
true.
Exactly.
That's
You're
true.
right. You're right.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, my thing is, even with him, I'm a segue on with. He showed you who he was from the beginning. How
He
you
did.
should have. You know what I'm
And
saying?
all mad
Like-
about it.
Like,
Right.
it's a couple people. We got, like, especially in the city.
He's a politician, so don't go so far. Okay?
Oh, I ain't gonna go too far.
Yeah, but
We
it's-
got, I'm gonna say this.
City halls is an extension of the streets.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
We got a lot
He
of.
said it.
Yeah.
He said it right.
You know,
He's right.
but we got a lot of.
Nigga got the afro now.
It's all over. It's all over, but we got a bunch of fake leaders, false prophets, and everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to call certain names out.
Yeah.
But anybody, even when he said about Trump, you hear people talking about this, that, and the third. But if y'all paid attention to the past, I ain't gonna put his name out there. He was Trump's spiritual advisor.
Wow.
He was his man. Now all of a sudden, now he's saying little stuff. But like, I don't like stuff like, say when we had the riots recently. None of that last
Yeah,
round of
yeah,
riots.
yeah.
You know, you got people in the forefront acting like they really playing a part in and they're not.
Right.
They just collecting the funds from all the other stuff that's going on. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
right.
no, not taking nothing from Freddie Gray, rest his soul.
Right.
But at that same time, something happened to him. A little girl got killed by a stray bullet. Innocent
right.
young lady.
You right.
So you're telling me putting his name on a building? I'm talking about not the street people. I'm talking about that person I was talking about.
Right.
He got this building, named it the Freddie Gray Center. That was more impactful than this little girl that got killed for nothing.
It definitely become political.
You know, it was political and it
Yeah.
was about money, because you're going to get a lot of grants from that.
Exactly.
You ain't gonna get a lot of grants from that. And
Yeah.
I just don't like the way we be bamboozled. And then my thing is, even like, so I segue back to the jail situation. If you give somebody something, like, I asked, what's his name? Brandon Scott.
Right.
I asked Brandon Scott a
Afro.
question. I asked him a question. His name Andy Scott?
I call him AKA Afro.
Oh, well, I asked him a question. I say, because he was asking me, do he got my vote? I said, let me ask you a question. How are you going to stop crime? And I just want to hear what he's saying. Because, everybody always get up and tell me what they're going to do. First of all, this is my opinion. You can't stop crime. This is what happened. You got to give somebody, you got to see, hopefully, and really they got to find it, something to live for where they don't feel like that they worthy, I mean, something's worthy to lose their life for it.
Right.
They lose their freedom for doing it. If you can find jobs, or you can find that into something in them that makes them really want to be something, love themselves. People gotta love them. If I love myself, I'm not gonna harm that man.
That's so true.
Right.
If I love that man, if I love myself, I'm not gonna try to rob that man. I ain't gonna do nothing but try to uplift that man.
Right.
And until we can get people into that mind, you can't do nothing about crime. That's why I hate when I hear politicians talk about, well, I'm gonna do this for crime. You ain't gonna do nothing. You can't do nothing.
And we do not,
Murders,
we cannot stop it.
Selling drugs.
If they gonna do it, they gonna do it,
Check
baby.
this out.
That's it.
Yeah,
I
man.
ain't gonna put no names out there, so I was over there, I got locked up in 08. 2 no bails for some domestic situation, but I didn't do what they said it was.
Okay, I got you.
I did knock the nigga out, whatever. Excuse me.
Okay.
But my whole thing, I'm over there. I ain't gonna
Okay.
put the people's names in there. So I get there, when I first walk through the door, nigga say,
In the
"Yeah."
mic,
Talk in the
right.
mic,
Excuse me.
yo.
When we first walked through, the guy said, "We got one. Y'all ain't got nothing here." So, because I always believe is, if you let somebody do something, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't live it down. So somebody hear me. So somebody say, "Yo, B." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? Who that?" It was a family member, right? He like, "Y'all ain't got nothing." I said, "You ain't got to tell them nothing." He said, "I'll explain to you in the morning." So in the morning came, and I never knew nothing about the gang culture.
Right,
Like I
gotcha.
knew about it. I despised it.
Right.
So
we did, because we didn't grow right.
Yeah, we didn't
right.
grow up
It's
like that.
another-
Yeah. So he broke it
Money
down
was
to me,
money.
whatever
Right.
the case may be. So I'm talking about, this is how I knew. I said, I was telling people like, and my cellmate was a Muslim guy. My dad was Muslim.
Right, he was.
So he was talking about how he hated them people.
Right.
But when he found out that was my cousin, he started changing his word. No, you're a man. You don't change your words. You don't like them. I ain't gonna tell him what you said.
Say it right.
But
This is it. Right.
I just seen how that system, you can't win as a civilian. I'm talking about, man, they had uptown knives. I ain't talking about nothing you make. Stuff you buy.
This
Yeah.
sound like the cut.
Listen,
Yeah, baby.
This
Yeah,
sound
baby.
like cut, baby.
Can't nobody get in trouble like this is over. I'm gonna tell you. Came to me like, I just got over there because I was a tier runner over Central Booking. Working man on Central Booking. Then when I got over there for them, they made me the tier runner over O section.
Gotcha.
So I'm sitting up there and
Tear runners, Jesus.
and
I was
so
one on
they hit the somebody got they sent me to court one day.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back upstairs, the dude, he deceased. So they start taking people down to interrogation, all that type of stuff. So they start hitting the cells.
Right.
They hit the cells, whatever. Enough. They didn't. And they took everybody down, question whatever.
Right,
So
right.
of course they're gonna think the people that ain't got nothing to do with it gonna say something, which is always in the prison. The person that did something or had something to do with it always the one snitching on everybody. It's never the innocent. I'm putting this out to anybody that's listening to this. In jail is never the people that sit down there, that civilians that you think telling. It's the ones that had something to do with it. They the ones telling.
So true, so true.
To get themselves out.
Not
So-
snitching, y'all.
It ain't
He's
snitching.
just giving you
They
words
don't
of
give me words.
wisdom.
And so boom. They because yo, hold this, hold that. They ain't gonna hit yourself. I'm like, you crazy? You gonna get me locked up in jail? But I did it.
Right.
I swear they hit everybody's cell except mine.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
a couple days later, when he came back and get whatever he got, he like they gonna hit you, and they hit mine. And then I swear, this no God tell me, we had to make it look real. I said after that, I ain't never going back to prison.
That was the end.
Huh?
That was the end.
It wasn't. That was the last time
Yeah.
I been locked up. But I'm saying, when I seen that dynamic, I just been by the grace of God, I've never had an issue.
Right.
Right.
But I seen other people have issues.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you but you ain't got no win against this.
Yeah.
But then they holding loyalty to these whatevers.
Right.
And they was the first ones told.
They put him up there. Yeah, he did it. And him.
They told on every guard out there joint.
Right.
Every guard.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's just the structure was crazy, man. Like, I don't even want to get into the stuff that was going on there. But even when I seen some of the guards compromising themselves,
Yeah.
the women guards for these
That's
people,
true.
like, I get what, you ain't beautiful outside in the street? This the only way you feel beautiful at? In a
Yeah, like-
pissy environment. It stinks there.
Well,
I wrote the book, The Indictments.
there you go.
Okay, I gotta
Yeah,
read.
he wrote the book.
We
He
definitely
wrote the
got
book.
Luke up, man. But I mean, I'm gonna let.
Yeah, but we got all night, bro.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
gonna be a
go
long
ahead.
conversation. Well, I'm gonna go with Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry. I don't want to tell your story. If you want to go and tell all that, you can. If you don't have to. Just you know.
I first wanted to be like when this dude here on my left, one of the drug dealers that was getting the money.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was always a follower. I was the dude that, I wasn't no gangster, no killer, nothing like that, but I would fight. And I was the dude that they would say, Jerry, go hit him in his mouth. and
You
I
can
would
go hit him in his
and
mouth.
I would follow. I would go hit him in his mouth.
The soldier.
Yeah, I wanted to be like certain cats, man, growing up, man, and I wanted the recognition that they had, this respect that it looked like they had, man. And
Wow.
so homeboy wound up putting a gun in my hand at the age of, 15, 16.
Dang.
And it felt like really powerful, man. And he was like, see now, Jerry, you can chill like me. And I really thought that was like some type of cool street credit type stuff.
Wow.
And so at the age of 17, I wound up getting locked up, man, and my mother couldn't save me. You know what I mean?
I meant to say that early.
My first bit was up the Hagerstown MCTC, man. And I got off that Bluebird, man, and started them standing around, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was real, baby.
It was real.
But not to walk on the glass.
The Bluebird, right?
Compound.
Bluebird.
All that was real, man.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And the first bit was, it was crazy because it was cool. And I seen a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I was young. And so my family was with me, you know what I mean? And packages and all of that.
Right,
so
right.
I was good.
Your mind, I'm good.
I'm good. But it will change you, man.
Yes, it will.
It
You
does
understand what
change
I'm
you.
saying? I just got finished telling you cats that I ain't no gangster, no killer, nothing like that. But when you in that type of environment, it'll change you and make you think and do certain things. It'll transform you into into that environment.
Yeah.
And you see some stuff, man, and you be like, you got to start to do some stuff. You know what I mean?
Ah.
To get a little bit respect, even if you ain't got the heart to do it.
You gotta do it.
You got
You
to
gotta do it.
You know, so I didn't have. I had a little small number, 4 years on my first bit. The second time, I wound up having 6 years. I come back 10 years later.
Wow.
It got real.
Wow. Wow.
The same dudes I saw in my first bit,
He's still there.
they were still there, and I saw in my second bit, and these dudes has big numbers.
Jeez.
You understand what I'm saying? So each time you go back, they looking to bury you, man. Everybody know that if you go back, if you've been in any type of prison institution, and you go back, you're gonna get your same ID number because they expect you to come back.
Dang.
They know you coming back.
I had no clue there, bro.
You gonna get your same
I had
number.
no clue.
Yeah, I ain't know that either.
I got a cousin, man. Every time I'm there, every guard know
Mike
his name.
Brandon.
That's not cool. Every guard know your name. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of them type.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
MCIJ, was that MCIJ? They say, I said, man, why you smiling so much? On one of the checkpoints at MCIJ, he say, because as long as I see you, I know I got a job.
This is so true. This is so
Yeah,
true.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
that.
this is so true. Yeah.
Right.
As long as you here, I'm good.
Thank you, sir.
That's so true.
Yeah,
That
man.
is so true.
I've been in probably one of the most dangerous prisons there is, man. The Cut Annex,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And it was so dangerous,
It
man.
was
that
dangerous, dog.
the few dudes that I did hang out with, we slept in shifts, man.
Damn.
That's
You know
how.
what I'm
You
saying?
right.
Let me cut you. Now, Cut
Man.
Annex, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember where boot camp was, right?
Right.
Cut Annex to join, like, I'm gonna tell you.
The X.
Listen. I lie to you not, just to piggyback off what he said. I never was scared of jail. Till the day they sent me to get my tooth pulled. I
go
went
to
over
the
there.
annex.
That's a whole nother animal. Come on. It's like nothing.
Damn.
It's dim, it's dark, it's spooky.
Yeah.
And these guys are sitting there like, well, we great. They gonna kill us and we over here. Cause we don't have no bars and stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I'm like, that Cut Annex,
Yeah.
woo!
They trying to figure out how they getting the knobs outside.
Outside,
Everybody
right.
banged outside. Yeah, they buried outside already in the dirt. They already outside.
Yeah, they're already out there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yo,
But to
I ain't gonna lie.
But to piggyback off what you said, when I first got there, and I'm talking about Stillside Annex.
Right.
They sent me over there because I was
Regular,
young,
the little
right?
bullshit.
Right.
Yes,
You mean to tell me I gotta use the bathroom in front of all these dudes, all these cats?
Yeah.
Man, I held my bells for like 3 days, man. Until I couldn't hold no more, man. I'm
And in
trying
the-
to tell you.
And in the jail annex, they had me in
man,
the
I was
staff dorm.
scared.
Right.
You get in the staff dorm if you got a diploma.
Okay.
Man, but I swear, they can say anything about regular prison. I've seen so many people get diced up over that annex.
Over the annex.
And,
Absolutely.
man, you in the dorm, all these people, you laying.
Yeah.
Man, I remember one time this New York guy, he kept picking on his old head. He didn't know that the old head, the guy that was across from him was the old head's, the guy's father was the old head's friend.
Wow.
Man, so I went, since I was a staff door, I could go to evil, you know what I mean?
Right,
dorm.
right.
So I'm rapping to the buddy, we doing the dips on the toilet, on the urinals. So I leave out, all I start hearing is, Yo, when we went back around, all we seen stuff coming out the man's neck. I swear they tore his, I'm telling you, like you say, the annex, like he just said, he want to hold the stuff for me. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You can't sleep, especially if you don't know what's going on and you're your first time. Anything can happen to you up there. If they plot, because you already got your little cliques that they plotting on you.
Yeah, you
You
done.
know what I'm saying? You done it. Because when me and my cousin first went in there,
Well, you know, back in the day, we ain't had the Bloods, the Crips,
No,
and all
I'm
of
talking
that.
about
This was West
This
Side,
is East
Park
Side.
Heights,
DC.
Terrace,
Right, that's what
Murphy
I'm saying.
Homes.
Yeah.
Because I'm from White Lock, so
White Lock,
and so but we always what made us a little tight. A lot of us I went to Carver. My cousin went to Douglas. You know, so you had the Park Heights, you had the Pablo Grove people going to Douglas. You know,
Right.
and then we all different neighborhoods played football against each other every Sunday at Cloverdale. So some of us that was getting locked up, so we and in hustling, we built kind of bonds.
A
So
bond out
when we
there
see each
already.
other, we stuck together.
Stuck
certain
together,
things.
right.
But that thing about that, like you said, that over there, if you don't know nobody, and people plotting, and then you got people that go for bad, you a sitting duck over there. You sleeping up there in the dorm with everybody. Man, they can come over you when you knocked out, put something over here, whatever, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not gonna say nothing.
But I'm gonna tell you what makes you crazy about the dumb annex back then. You think you safe because they call that stuff programming. Up the day, down
tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Everything will follow.
You got your Friday, you pay your rent, you want to dance, retro.
Yes, sir.
And so you start to get the mentality like, I'm cool, I'm straight. Just like that, something happened. My buddy, man, I don't know where he at now. My buddy Conrad, he went to my school. He was the president of the whatever. This guy, man, smart as a whip. And I ended up seeing him over there. That's the first time I ever heard big numbers. He got life in 3.
Damn.
He said he used to come home from come from school every day and rob drug dealers.
Wow.
He said he shot people every count and never had. He said he shot somebody in a bull crap spot and he bled to death. I mean, he must have hit the artery.
Right.
Man, he was over there every night when he first gave him his time. All you hear him is howling like a wolf. Oh, all night long.
He
I'm
went
like,
crazy.
I don't know. And I mean, I'm saying he was a good dude. And then, like I'm saying, he ain't hustling. I mean, he was brilliant. I guess that was his way of getting money. You know, he was from one of the bad sides, like Jerry Hill. You know how that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
but he said he never.
Jerry Hill,
But he never hustled.
Jesus.
He never hustled. But he was robbing.
Right.
And
That was his hustle.
his hustle.
Right.
You would never. Even though he looked like that type, you would never know because he was just so smart. And I'm like, I would love to find him and see where his mind at now, and what
Right
he can
now,
tell
right.
people, man.
His
Because
story.
you know what I'm saying, man. That man, he was. But when that was the first time I ever heard a big.
I need to know one
Life is
thing
free.
though, man. Every conversation, all the conversations I heard in prison and all of that, everybody I know was getting money. Everybody. So I'm trying to figure out if everybody was getting money, who was getting high? Because I was one of the dudes that was getting high. So everybody was getting money.
But back then, you talking about early 90s.
Yeah,
It was different because you can
was
see,
a lot
I'm
of
going to be
money.
honest with you, the way we was running it, and we at a certain time, we was like letting the fiends get like $1 or $2 off a pill. They was making more than the people that's working. I'm talking a lot of these people was making like $500 or $600 a week or better. Or a day. Sometimes he was making $200-300 a day. Depending on how, so it don't look, even though they getting high, they got money to supply their habits, and they look like they looking like they doing the same thing the hustlers doing. The money was different than now.
Yeah.
But like you say, like everybody talking about they getting
Everybody
money.
was getting money.
But then it was people was clicked up, so it looked like they had more than what they had. You know what I'm saying? You had one big dude, and everybody else was with it, but everybody just looked good and spent. And then back then, it ain't take much to look real fly. Like now, shoes costing $200, $300, $400.
Yeah,
back
that's
then
true.
Back then you pay $100-something for some kicks.
You was good.
You got
Yeah,
nice
y'all had the
setup.
Adidas on.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you was
good.
great.
But I mean,
true.
it was a lot. But you got to think it was more money out there. That crack epidemic. I mean, like I
When it
lied
first
not.
started, right.
Like I say, man, these guys they around my way. Like we was around there the other day talking. They be like, they don't give you props. I don't want no props for that. But when we was breaking it down to my little cousins that's out there now, what happened is different. I'm like, that's when it first happened. I was the first. I ain't know nothing. Somebody gave it to me. I took it to my cousin. That was he was out there heavy before us. We was young. When we started, we didn't know what it was. Somebody gave us something. This called boy, this called girl. This, you know what I mean? We didn't really know. Took it to him. He like, cuz I ain't selling that. That's a murder charge.
Damn.
I'm like, this the person we used to idolize. He got locked up in school for selling drugs in school. You know what I mean? And he was like 17. I'm saying,
Right.
this back is 16, 17 years old. So
Right.
mine.
Right.
So I mean, I sit there. I said, man, I don't want to do this. I took it. I found two things I knew. I grew up older heads because I didn't learn the streets from the dudes I was idolized. I learned from the fiends. They the only ones that helped me, and they took it somewhere. And from there, it was like I had a brand new. I came up with Amazon or something. That's how that's how I mean, if I equated that for like I created Amazon. I gave two of them. They took them up and people just coming down like it was something brand new to the market. And but you know, that's why you say the money was different, the times was different, and it just looked different. Like now, the drug dealers look like junkies now.
Yeah, they do look like
their
junkies.
skin dark.
And they buying loose cigarettes. They buying loose
I
cigarettes.
get that loose one.
It's
Yeah.
different. It's
A
different.
kingpin the other day asked me to borrow $50. I'm like, you a kingpin.
Wow. And that's and
You
then
want
like you say,
$50 from me, and I'm broke.
and the $50. I mean, and kingpins ain't the kingpins that it used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Like everything's changed. Like
Supposed to be kingpin.
So we can't really equate back then with now.
Right.
Because it's a different time. And then, but like right now, I just don't. These kids don't have no loyalty. They ain't even loyalty. They ain't even loyalty to their little sets they got now.
But this one thing I want them to understand: the painful lessons about going back and forth to prison. One of the things that I want to tell them, if anybody listening out there, a lot of the language came from prison that I use. Uncle Charlie, this. The white man that stopped me from doing this and stopped me from doing that, got his foot on my neck.
Yeah.
He ain't got.
Jerry was in his own way. I was always my worst enemy, always in my way. Once I stopped thinking like that,
Right.
the chain shackles fell off my mind, man.
Wow.
And I was be able to think free and do creative things,
Right.
man, and go further than where I was already at. Once I stopped that type of thinking, I was on my way.
But you know what they make me people don't understand, man. Like we know 'cause we older. You got to like every time you get in trouble, you make it less likely that you can get certain jobs. You alienate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell my students this all the time. Like it's jobs I know I'm qualified for. I couldn't get because I had a record.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
surprised when I started passing federal background checks. I'm like, who? I should get a gun now. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is like, I tell them all, like I say, man,
Right.
when you doing that type of stuff, you don't see a lot of kids just like we were. We ain't looking to the future. We was looking
No,
for
we
here and
did
now.
not look in the future.
They need to. I tell my daughter every day. I understand you're doing good things and stuff like that, but look into the future. Stop looking for right now because you're going to get older. You're going to change. Things going to change about you. The things that you like now, you're not going to like later on.
So true.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't think that they're just like we did. We never thought we was gonna get older. Some of us.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem that they don't think further. 'Cause like, man, if I'd have thought I would. I mean, I understand some things I've done probably made me the type of person I am today.
Right. Yeah.
But if I'd have looked a little further ahead in my future, I would have done.
Yeah,
half
but
the stuff
pain
I done.
pain taught you those lessons, man.
I wouldn't have done half the stuff.
Pain,
Though. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like even I'm gonna tell you like I told him earlier before we got on air. Jail thing was me. All my buddies when I was coming up, yo, skinny, pretty, but they gonna do this, they gonna rape you up. I'm like, ain't no, I was one on food, I wanted to go to see, make show y'all that it ain't gonna happen.
Right. You accepted that challenge.
You know, I never was a follower.
Right.
I always wanted to prove that. That's the only thing I feel like the dumbest thing I ever thought. Like, I was one of them young kids. I grew up in White Lock. I wanted to live in the projects. Like, who wants to live in the
You ain't had to. That's the thing.
I mean, like where I'm living at ain't bad enough. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got like you just wanted to have. I mean, for some reason I had that mind. Like, I'm gonna prove these people that I can handle even more than what they can handle.
Wow.
And that's sad. That's a sad mind frame when you're looking at it in a negative, the negative stuff. Now, if I was doing some positive stuff, it'd have been a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's my thing is, like I tell all my kids in school, man, I'm not going to say that y'all are going to be the brilliantest people out here, whatever. I'm going to teach y'all what I know to survive.
And had I not been back and forth to prison, my pay grade would be a lot higher now. Let me say that.
And that's why I like what you said. Like people try to keep blaming the white. We already, first of all, we all in what? How old are you, about 40 something?
No, I'm 57.
57. How old are you?
I'm just turned 50.
Okay, I'm 48. So we were on the same bracket.
Right.
We all know what happened in history.
Right.
We all know that what happened to our ancestors. But we can't just keep pointing it on that because now we enslaving ourselves. Like most people out here now in positions, they put themselves in them positions because they want that instant oatmeal life instead of working towards something greater. We all have capabilities to be great.
Yes,
but everybody, we all want to take the short road. We don't want to take the long hump and climb, fall, and climb again.
Yeah.
A lot of us just want to just make it happen. And I just like it's no different than playing the lottery. You just think, I'm gonna hit the big. I still think like that, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, but okay, while I'm trying to hit the big, I'm losing big. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can hit some of that that money that I'm putting out there. If I leave that, like I ain't put in the box like I'm playing the lottery, just sit there on it. By the time I look at it, it might accumulate.
Yeah,
right.
so true.
Man, I mean, man, it's just like we got a lot of us got trapped minds, and I really focus on our women because our women are so broken. Well, we all broken, men and women. So I don't get into it. But our women are so broken, man, and they don't believe they're broken. And I try to tell some of my female, because I have a lot of female friends, and I tell them, my thing about y'all is, without y'all, there's no us.
So true. They are the mothers.
I get into a lot of debates with women, especially I hear the women say, men ain't stuff or whatever the case. If you got it, how you gonna say?
You can cuss, man.
How you
This
gonna
is the
say?
brother show. You can cuss.
Oh, how you gonna say men ain't shit? How you gonna say men ain't shit, but you raising a little boy over there? So what are you teaching him?
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And he ain't.
And I tell people a lot of stuff with us as people, man. We just had this conversation yesterday that a lot of us learn more indirectly than directly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, our parents may have told us certain things, but we learn more for the things we watch them do and seen them do versus what they say. They might say, don't you smoke cigarettes, and you see them smoking a cigarette.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Learn more,
you know? And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people, like I tell the young ladies, y'all kids learning not. You might told them not to do it, but they see you doing it. It's just like saying don't do it.
Right.
And that's what some people don't understand, man. We are our biggest enemies if we don't sit back and look at things, man. And like I tell all the women, when y'all got these negative connotations about us to y'all kids, what are you raising? Some women don't know the power that they have as being women.
Right.
Without y'all, we can't have no kids. We only can help you make them. And even when it comes to raising them, when you got the ones that want to keep their fathers away, you're destroying what that kid can be.
So true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another way we be developing that. I call it a prison mentality, because then as them kids that feel like they missing something, they're gonna go find something else to gravitate towards.
Even with the
boys, that's what I'm saying, especially the boys, they think what they think love is or something. Like the girl's gonna go find a dude. The guy's gonna go find a little clique to hang with it. They gonna think that's love, and they gonna get in all type of trouble. And I tell this is my thing. I tell all the kids in my school, and because I don't just deal with my classroom, I deal with everybody. I used to be an intervention specialist also. I tell them, man, my story to y'all is, I've been out there, but there's a certain line I never crossed, or I never got caught for certain lines that I crossed. You know, I say as long as you don't cross certain lines, you can always come back.
But I'd like to say one quick thing in reference to the women and how women see men. I think a lot of their attitude go toward men who do not uphold their obligation
Of course.
with the children. So it's we're complicit as well, because I think that we are the protectors. We are the ones that the heads of the family, so to speak. So
You're
I
not
think
around.
so I think that when we conduct ourselves as men, like you said, when we have a child, whether we're with that woman or not, it's our obligation to take care of that child. And we have to be leaders if we want that type of respect. And I'm not giving women a pass, but we have to create a better environment so that they can have a better, healthier attitude toward us.
Yeah, and I think they need that really, because I get tired of hearing them talking negative and stuff. But at the same time, they have to put forth the same effort that we put. You know, we supposed to be the protectors, but then when they start making that independent, this and now they give you that insta kiss. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I mean, like I say, I always tell people, like I've been with my daughter since she was born, even though me and her mother ain't together.
Right.
Just because you're not together don't mean you can't be the father or the parent that you're supposed to be.
And a lot of independent thinking comes from where they have to raise their child by themselves. And whether you, for whatever reason, that man is not in a household, to me, or not a part of the family, is not a valid reason. Whether he wound up getting killed for selling drugs, whether he wound up in jail or whatever, he's not fulfilling his obligations. So that creates a form of bitterness within that woman that I have to hold it down all by myself. And as the generations go on and on and on, it just perpetuates into a negative, bitter attitude. And to me, white America takes advantage of that.
Of course. And you've noticed, like you just said that, I noticed that every time we go through something as a people, they exploit it.
Yes,
They exploit.
they exploit it.
Hey, hello, Mix Station Radio, The Brother Show. Who is this?
This your cousin Tim.
What's up, Tim? How you doing, sir? I ain't gonna put your whole government name out there, but Tim is my cousin. You want me to tell your story? You just go. Well, you just want to ask a question, right?
Well, I know that's Bo. I grew up with Bo. Ain't nothing cutting.
Who's calling Bo?
Who got the sound?
Oh, you talking about me?
No, it's on him.
You talking about Ralph?
You talking about
Real
Bo?
name was Bo.
Your real name was Bo?
No. And you know what's kind of crazy? Because coming up, I never had a nickname. Ralph E. Johnson
but-
Jr. Let me take my mask off for you real
Ralph,
quick.
Yeah, that's Ralph. He had when he used to live around there off of Bond Street.
Yes, sir. Bond Street. Yes, sir. That's me.
All right, I know it. You were just ran.
No.
You just ran for mayor.
Bo was a
I
tall
know
black
who you
guy.
is.
Yeah, Bo was a tall black guy
Yeah, Bo
that we
was the
hung
dog,
together.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm Ralph. That was Bo.
You Ralph.
Hey, but Bo my man,
You
though. Bo my man.
Yeah, you raised your sister.
He said you raised your sister.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
And hold on. Yeah, Bo's the man, your bus driver. But my guy sitting in the middle,
Brandon.
What's up, brother?
That's Brandon.
yeah. And my guy sitting in the middle down MCIJ with me, played football with me.
No, I ain't never been out MCIJ.
I was down MCIG, but I ain't played no football.
Yeah, I ain't never been out
It's
MCIJ.
Tim.
No. You talking about Brandon or you talking about Jared?
He said the middle, but I never
In the
been
middle.
Out, yeah, I never been out
No.
MCIJ.
I was
No, not MCIJ.
No.
You got them all mixed up. You got all the jails mixed up, cuz Jesus.
Okay, but well, his voice is right. You know, I had to run across him if it wasn't for MCIH or one of them joints down there.
Yeah,
But
that was a
let
minute
me-
ago. You know, this
Okay.
is Brandon, the other cousin from Passing Park.
Okay,
That's Brandon Lee, the one that hang with Bubbles.
okay.
You know, you sound like my brother a lot right now, Tim. Okay.
All right, but let me say this.
Go ahead.
Let me say this, man. But let me say this, cuz.
Go ahead, cuz.
Man, I'm so proud of these brothers, man, and I'm so proud of these brothers, man, because you know, we done changed. We done changed our life and seen so much of what's going on inside and outside the joint.
So true.
Right.
So true.
Definitely.
That's true, man. You got a question today, cuz, or you just wanna give us a comment like that, man? I just want to say, man, I bless you. You know, I love you, cuz. Thank you for being.
I love y'all too, man. Y'all be safe, man.
Yeah,
I'm just watching the show. Y'all just blessing me right
No,
now.
don't worry, bro. We gonna keep on talking, bro. We gonna
Appreciate
put
the
this
love.
street
Look,
down.
stay tuned, because I'm going to talk about Bond Street a little bit.
Yeah, we gonna talk about all that. We got time. We got time. You know, you got the vice president and the president, so we gonna be here. We're gonna be here for a minute. But
Hey, can I say something real quick about Bond Street?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna share some light real quick.
Go ahead.
I want to share some light because on Bond Street is where I used to hustle at,
Wow.
where I got shot up at.
Wow.
And it's a church that's sitting on the corner. After I got my life together and became a deacon, I gave 100 men in black service at Friendship Baptist Church,
Friendship
where
Baptist,
it all
yes.
started at.
Yes.
And that's what God do. He bring you right back to where you was at. And then all them guys down there, man, just, you know, they came to me say how proud they is. Don't be proud. You can change your life as well.
Right.
So true.
Yes, sir.
So true.
You know, it was a full circle for me where I done did some stuff. I done been shot up. I done been sad down there. But then I can't turn right back around. And God put me in a place where it all started at for me. To witness to these young brothers say, if I can do it, you can do it.
That's true, and that's what you do. That's so true. You right about that, cuz. Thank you so much, cuz. Thank you for calling in, man.
You got it.
And I'll see you at church when I get there.
You got it.
You know. Hope Pastor Clay ain't listening. So you know. All right, cuz. Love you, man. Peace.
You got it. All right.
Yeah, just to piggyback on him, the tripping part is when I left, came back, I was out at Central Laundry. I didn't go back to the annex. And his younger brother was a guy named Mike. Mike was a little kid when we used to play around, but he was way younger than us. Okay. So I took him on a hospital run. And the boy named put me all out there like, hey, yeah, man, you don't know me? I said, no, I don't know you. He said, look at my ID. I look at his ID, he's a Brandon.
Right.
And he said, man, Tim is my brother. I said, man, so what's up, Mike? And see, this is the thing that I can say about jail, that people who knew me, like I had two other cousins that was at the annex that never told me they was my cousins. But they was there that whole time that I was there. They was there. I didn't know until Tim told me, said, hey, you know they knew you, but they never said nothing. I don't know if that's because of protection, they didn't want to know me or whatever it was. But it was just like when Tank was with me. I can say his name because he's my brother. So when he was at the annex, he was there for 5 years when I was there. And the only thing they did was kick me out the buildings. They didn't kick me out the jail. I was trying to get out the jail. Because the annex was off the chain.
I think I would have used that.
Man, I tried to use it, Marcus. They would not. Jared tell you, they kept me on the compound. They kept me on the compound that whole time. They did not put me. I said, well, if I was a dirty officer, you would have kicked me out the jail. But because I wasn't a dirty officer, they just kept me on the compound. Because we was getting drafted like crazy, 3 times a week and sometimes 4 times a week.
They need them bodies, bro.
Yeah, but
it's 10 times terrible right now.
But it was just right. It's terrible now.
Especially
but back
with COVID.
then, I mean, it was like worse, and to see all that terrible stuff going on. Well, let's stop talking about me. My guest is here. Go ahead, Jerry. You want to say something?
I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
pivot off of something that your cousin just said, man. It
Right.
was really dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm.
He said that God will bring you back to some of those same places, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember being out there smoking crack, dope, all of that. And I remember a dude being around the way, and every time I saw him, I would go in his pockets.
Wow.
So a little after that, after God got me straight and cleaned me up, we was going to a church service down in South Baltimore, and I saw this dude. And he come up to me and was like, Jerry, man, I love what you're doing, man. Can you pray for me? And I started crying because I'm trying to figure out, you're the same cat, you know, that every time I saw you, I used to go in your pockets.
Wow.
And I never really got the answer to that until one of my sisters in Christ said, Jerry, God asked them to pray for you so you can give back. So he will bring you some of the same places. He will bring you back.
And he's doing it now. Not gonna say my cousin doing it now. Well, I'm gonna turn it over now. We're going to the
Ralph.
correctional. To Ralph. He's the correctional officer that wrote a book. Go ahead, Ralph. You do what you do, man. Talking to Mike though. You know, you can bring it around too, however you want to do it. Yeah.
Well, my journey in corrections, you leave Officer Friendly for last, but my journey in corrections, really wasn't that friendly. It was kind of brutal, you know, just coming up.
About that now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just coming up in East Baltimore, and the brother mentioned Barnes Street.
I know you was on the east side, man. We live right there on Wolf and Edgar.
Oh yeah, and on Barnes Street. And I used to always go down to the jail and on my 10th speed when I was living on Barnes Street.
Right.
And I used to look at the gentlemen that were in the window, because at night you can actually see them.
Right.
And they were like, Shorty, what's going on, Shorty? You better stay in school. I'm going to split your head or put that knife up on you. and it was crazy because what they were saying was basically brutal, but it was actually good information, because I said I wasn't ever going to go into an environment like that. But of course, going back and forth, and like my brother Brandon said here, that you want that credibility. Growing up in East Baltimore, Somerset Project, Claremont Home, I'm on Barnes Street, so I want to be down. So, and I was a ball at that, ball down Chickweb, under the dome, whole 9 yards, my man Lil Wayne and them. So I really wanted to be a part of that environment because that was part of the peer pressure.
Right.
And one day I woke up, I was about 17. I woke up and my mother found out that my future wife at the time was pregnant. It's my childhood sweetheart. We linked up 13 years old in Claremont Home Project.
Wow.
Exactly. So I was on my way out to play a little ball, go down Chickweb, and try to figure out how I can become a part of the game. So I was going to get with my Somerset crew, and as I was going out the door, somebody blindsided me. Bam! And it was my mother.
Damn.
She knocked the living hell out of me. And when I woke up, I was down on Howard Street at the Army recruiting station.
Oh, Lord, she knocked him out. She knocked him out. Set him down there. We're going to take him down there. You got the card center. We good.
So look, what happened, she found out that I was trying to get on with Peanut King and them, because at the time, Peanut King had the mopeds. Now, this was during the early 80s now. Coming up in the 70s, where we were balling and everything now, we never had an open-air drug market in Baltimore City in the 70s. So never. So all the drugs and everything was sold out of people's houses.
That's true, because my father did beat me out the house.
We never had that corner stuff.
That is so true.
So as I started to go to crack games and down at the on the basketball court, back then if you faced somebody for 50, and I'm 17 years old, you face somebody for 50 cents or $1, you're doing real good.
Right.
So now all of a sudden people fading each other for 50, 100, and I'm like, because I was a real good ice shooter, so I'm like, what the hell is going on out here? And what really kicked it off is that I saw somebody come to the crack game with a pair of brand new Shell Adidas that they cut the back off and was wearing them as slippers with the coach's shorts.
Before we had slippers, Adidas slippers, right?
Yeah. And I'm with cut off shorts on, and some fish heads. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Am I missing something? So everybody was like, man, this dude Peanut King, Lord Meach, he was one of the first dudes that got killed. He was like, man, this dude Peanut King, man, he putting everybody on. I said, I'm trying to go. So the word leaked to my mother, and I got knocked out.
What day did you wake up?
A couple of hours later, so back then they had the Army recruiting station on Howard Street.
Right.
Wow.
So she took me down to the Army recruiting station, and 8 years later, I came back to Baltimore.
Wow.
So basically, when I went to the Army recruiting station, they signed me up that day. The next day, I was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Dang.
After Fort Jackson, South Carolina, I went to Germany. I was in Germany for 4 years. Then I went to Korea for like a year and a half. Then I did a lot of other places. Now I did come back home maybe after my 4th year after the military, and basically almost everybody was dead or in jail because I'm looking for everybody.
Wow.
So I did my time in the military. I beat the crack epidemic because my mom saved me. She took me down there. I was the only son.
Yeah.
And she signed me up. Right. So that actually saved me. In 91, when I got out of the military.
Right.
Got out the military in 91 because I got tired of playing the infantry game, and every 5 minutes you're in a different place of the world playing war games. It's cold outside, and you're living like a serious Viking. Those the TV commercials are good because you do get paid real good, but most of the time I was in the field. right, in the hills and the mountains. So after the first Gulf War, 91.
Wow.
When the war was over, they allowed, because before, in 90, when the war kicked off in 90, they stopped everybody ETS. ETS is when your expiration date.
Right.
So they kept me beyond my expiration date until the war was actually over.
Wow.
So the war was over in 91. So I said, I'm getting the hell out of here. This is my
This is my
break.
break.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I was at the military district of Washington. So I think they tried to give you like 18,000 to re-enlist, but I was already traumatized by it. And I was like, man, I said, I'm going home broke.
I'm going home. Right, y'all
So I got in my Nissan Sentra in D.C., so I had my uniform on, and I'm driving down 295. I stopped in the middle of 295, pulled over, I took my uniform off, threw it, so I rode into the city in my boxers.
You was that messed up. It's done.
Because the military was good in terms of I learned a lot, good experience, whole 9 yards, but the units that I was in, we were constantly traveling, it just wore me out.
Gotcha.
So I was glad, so I got home. So now I'm home in Baltimore, and I'm broke. And
well, the military people end up getting broke all the time.
right, and then I had a bad gambling problem.
Oh
overseas
Lord,
too, right?
Oh
So
Lord.
I think when I left, I think I owed the captain, the company commander money. I think I owed the first time. So I owed a lot of people money when I rolled out. So I get back, I'm broke. I'm pretty much back home now. And during this time, I wound up getting married, and I had 3 children during this time.
Right.
So when I get home, of course, everybody happy that you're home, yay, for about 2 days when they find out you can't contribute to the bills.
Right.
And I had really fallen because I was on like Dallas Street. I don't know if you're familiar, right, with Dallas Street and Preston. Matter of fact, the street not even there anymore.
Right,
That's how rough it was.
Right the corner from Uncle Tom.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay, I know what you're talking about. There. Yeah.
So now I'm back in Baltimore, and somebody came up to me and said, "Look," they said, bro, you went in the military, you tough guy, right?" So I said, "I don't know about all that tough guy. I don't know about all that tough guy, but I was in the military." Right. And they said, "Well, what you doing corrections?" I said, "Corrections?" Because where I come from, you didn't deal with police.
You deal with the police,
exactly.
Right.
Plus, I still remember looking at them guys in the
window. Yeah.
I said, "No,
no, that's all right."
I said, "No, I'm good." So I wound up buying a little hoopty.
Okay.
So I wound up hacking.
Right.
Okay, so I'm out there
hacking. Was big.
Hacking was big.
You could
right.
make
And this
it
is like in
then,
91.
Right. Yeah,
hacking
you could make
big.
it.
I'm doing good for me. Because I came from...
Right. We did a lot of hacks when we was in the streets.
Right. Oh, right, exactly. I'm going to come to that, right.
Yeah.
So I had the little pages. So I'm
pages, yes.
He was certified.
He was certified hack, had the pager. Hit me up.
I'm in Mondawmin now, right?
Right.
So I'm at Mondawmin whole 9 yards. So the dude was like, so one dude come out with about 30 bags.
Right.
I'm like, God damn. He said, yo, hack, you hack. I said, yeah, bro, I got you, boss. He said, okay, man, I need you to drive me up. Need the plies, and then we need to go down here. So we wind up all the way on Green Mountain North. So I said, damn. He said, thank you, shorty, man, looking out. Now, he kept me for about like an hour. So he said, thanks, man. So then he slid me a 50. So I'm like, damn, So then I went back. So the dude was like, I said, who was that dude? He said, shorty, I'm making money. So to make a long story short, every time he would come up, he would get me. So then I started just hacking hustlers.
Wow.
I said, okay, because they were paying, the $100.
Real money.
And then I got the pager, so I was that guy. So they were paging me.
Yeah, you was in.
And then I knew the whole city, not just East, West, Cherry Hill, Westport, wherever, Curtis Bay, Sandtown, wherever,
Right.
So they would hit me up. So this is where I'm going to get into corrections, but I'm going through a almost prison phase now.
Right.
91
So-
was that time.
So, right. Okay, so here's my fateful night. 1991, September the 23rd was the night that changed my life forever. Wow. So I dropped a hat off of Denmore and Garrison. So y'all, and it used to be some projects back there.
It's apartments. My brother's living in
Right.
Jones. Yeah, them more, yeah.
So-
Them more pups.
Okay.
So I drives down.
I've got a name of it. I brother's living in it.
So I dropped it.
I just stash my shit.
So I dropped the guy off.
Right.
So when I dropped the guy off, I saw a childhood friend from East Baltimore. Yo, Ralph, what's going on? Ain't nothing, boy. Just make a little bit of money, great, hit on back. He said, look, man, when you get finished, come pick me up, bring me back east, and I got you. I said, cool, ain't no problem, because that'll be a last fare. Right. So I made money, I guess about like 9, because, in September get a little dark and everything, so I came back to pick him up. So he gets in the car, and I'm in the car, and I got a rental at the time, and as we driving off, Kirk Smoke had like a task force that hit hot areas. So as I was dropping off, it seemed like the whole narcotics squad just repelled from the sky all over the shit. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at everything, and they're not messing with us. They're just locking everybody else up. So my man says, look, man, why they doing this? I'm going to go ahead and holler at my man real quick. So I said, all right. So I'm sitting in the car. So then I saw the flashlight joint. So I'm like, okay. So it was the police officer. Said, yo, what's going on? I said, ain't nothing. I said, I'm just sitting here, waiting till y'all get finished. He said, well, get out the car. I said, get out the car. So I said, all right. So I gets out the car. He said, what's in the car? So I said, I don't know what's in the car. He said, well, can I check? I'm like, yeah. So when he said that, I looked over at my man. He gone. Right, here we go. So the first thing he gets some what they call the prescription, methadone prescription. Right. He says, your name Cindy something. I said, no. He said, well, this is Met. You in possession of CDS. Now, mind you, I'm fresh out the military, and I missed the crack epidemic.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell is CDS.
Right.
I don't even know what CDS is, right?
Yes.
So I'm saying, Met. I'm good. That's Met. That's just medicine, right? So then he went inside. He had a Adidas duffel bag. So he goes inside, and he pulls out a big plastic bag. Right. And all I saw was about 400 or 500 vials of little white shit. I don't know what the hell it is, right? Right. So I'm like, right.
He had the facts. He had the facts.
So I knew this shit. I said, oh, shit. So then he pulled out the powder part. I said, God damn. Then he started pulling out the money. I said, oh, shit. And all I heard was like, yo, we got that motherfucker. Bam. I said, you got who? And he whipping my ass and shit just because and shit, right? So everybody runs over. All right. So I get locked up, obviously.
Right.
So now I'm looking at a lot of time. I'm looking at 23 on this, that, with possession. Right. So we're reading all this. So I goes in, and it's the lawyer that I wind up getting that actually saved me. Well, he in jail now on some kingpin charges. So.
Wow. You need to write a story on that.
That sounds about right, though.
I'm glad I caught him. I'm glad I caught him when he was
right. Yeah.
So I hired him. So we going back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to speed it up because it's long. So while I get out on bail. So I wound up getting out on bail because, my mom bring the minister, the pastor.
Yeah, she already knocked you out already, so you already know how she
the imam, everybody showed up. People I didn't even know. So, Judge Sweeney up at Wabash wound up giving me a bail. So now I'm out on bail. So now I got to pay the lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't have no money. So what do? I go back to hacking. So then I'm out there hacking, because I got another rental car, making a lot of money just to pay the lawyer. But I'm forgetting that I'm supposed to go to my your pre-trial obligations at North Avenue and urinate and all that.
Right.
So my mother said, where? She called me. She said, where are you? I said, I'm out hacking, making money so I can pay the lawyers. They said, well, the detectives and the police and everything were looking for you, talking about you a fugitive. I said, I fugitive because I violated my pre-trial.
Stuff,
so now I got a warrant and everything. So now I'm on the run. So my lawyers, I said, well, can you hurry and give me a court date? He said, yeah. He said, well, you got to turn yourself in. I said, well, I ain't turning myself in until we get that court date. I don't know jail.
You don't know nothing about jail.
When I'm from East Baltimore, I ain't turning nothing in.
I ain't turned nothing in.
Right.
We said.
So to make a long story short, I survived without getting locked up. So we go to the trial.
Right.
Okay. So now we at Judge Brown Court down Circuit Court. And so we there because I asked for a trial by jury and all that good stuff, right? So we there, and my attorney name was Williams. Everybody was there. So Judge Brown said, I need to see the attorney, the defense, and the prosecutor up at the bench. Mm-hmm. So they goes up there and they da-da-da. So he comes back, and he said, all right, you can go home.
Wow.
So I said, go home? What the fuck are you talking about? You know, he said, you got now process. I'm like, okay, well, what's that? I don't know what the now process is. He said, look, just get your stuff and go. And I'm thinking like it's a joke or something, you know.
Right.
And that's 92 now, so it's like a year that I'm going through this. So what happened was, and I don't know what's going on, the lawyers and all that. So what happened was, and you might even know him, it was a guy by the name of Street. He was a detective, a narcotic detective on the streets during the 80s and in the 90s. I think it might have been Lawn Streak or something like that, but he was a famous type, one of those type dudes.
The ones they give names to and shit.
Was he a knock?
He was a knocker, right?
Oh yeah, he was known in the Westport Hill area.
And he was the head of the division. What happened was he was in charge of that situation, so they had the dude that I picked up. They had him under surveillance. They had him under surveillance. So what the white dude, what the police officer said is that I came there and sat for an hour making transactions, but the supervisor, Brown, and he had to do an affidavit because when he wrote the report, the affidavit, he had to come and explain what happened.
Right.
So his report says that I pulled up, the suspect got in my car with some bags, then the suspect got out of my car with some bags, and that's when all that happened. So it conflicted what the white guy said.
Back then, he was doing a lot of playing games with this stuff, and I'll tell you the story later. He played a lot of games with them paperwork. So that's how I wound up getting off because that was his statement and everything, and he said that because my thing was, why were you in the area? Right. I'm green. I'm hacking.
Right.
Don't you know that's illegal? I don't care.
I'm making money.
I take my charge and to take this.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that's
so I said I stuck with hack. So then the person came to me and said, don't you know you can go to corrections? So now corrections sound real good.
I think I'm going to do that.
I think I'm going to do that. So on January 12th, 1994, I walked up the JI steps and I entered the world of corrections. And we went in the JI lobby and, we had our class, Captain Barty and all that. And they said, well, we're going to go to city jail and cross the street, and we're going to the back gate to get y'all, an idea. Right. Now, we hadn't been to training yet, but they just wanted to, before the training class came, they wanted us to give us a walkthrough.
Right.
Yeah, they
did. The walkthrough, yes.
So, and I'm going to end the story on this. So, we go across Madison Street, through the back gate, up the corridor, through post 10 to receiving. And now, mind you, we've been in class for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
But now we're going to the city jail.
Yeah. And
I ain't gonna lie, man. I thought I was a tough infantry 100 push-ups doing, dumpster diving. And I said, first of all, I said, what the hell is this?
You still signed?
I'm on receiving now. So I said,
That first day, boy.
right, and see, then Central Booking wasn't open. Central Booking open, right? So everybody went through receiving the process.
Receiving.
So they first of all, we going to the cage where you first go in, and it's about 300 people just in there. And so we're walking.
Before you even get to sell.
Right. So I'm like,
Remember them days, yeah.
So Captain Barty said, gentlemen, slide over. So they like, and it's about like that. And I'm like, what the fuck, they got all these people. So then we gets out. And I looked in the cage, that the people who were processing the guys. And then I seen guys, and this was C and D, guys were all in the hallway, then, B section, then they was going coming. So it was like 1 million people. And I'm like, well, because I'm thinking that in jail, everybody's gonna be locked down.
Right.
Back there was a lot of skating, man.
Right. So this the kicker. So I'm like, what the fuck? So then I looked in the cage. I saw the two biggest dudes I've ever seen in my life. Captain Fields, but he was an officer then, and he was about like 320, 6'2". Then you had Baby James. That's when Baby James.
Yeah.
Baby James about like 6'7" and 5. And I'm like, God. And then me, I'm like 145. Right. And so I'm starting to, get losing my breath. And I'm like, because I couldn't breathe. But I got it.
Anxiety, man.
And then what made it so bad is that they didn't give us our full uniform, so I had to wear like a white shirt, tie, and I had my dress pants.
You came in the white shirt.
Right, the white shirt. And then I had to get my own dress pants, and then I had some slippery Earls on.
Slippery Earls in the jail.
Right. So that made me the target.
You ain't lying. You was the target. You was the
Everybody cracked
target.
on me. So this is where I'm in the story. So so Captain Barty said, so one guy was beefing with Baby James. And the guy was like, and we was ready to walk down the receiver until the Baby James said, look, sir, I need your property, because if you come in, we give you property, we give you a receipt, and we'll, send it home, but you can't take it with you. So the dude was like, man, little cock diesel dude. So he's like, man, I ain't giving you shit, you big dumb motherfucker. He said, look, sir. so James said, look, James said, sir, I'm going to ask you one more time, sir. Can I have your property? And by then, the inmates cheering them on. So I'm really panicking now, because I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking they're just going to be a mutiny up in this, because I don't know. Right. So James said, no problem. So Captain Phil said, Officer Phil said, James, you got this, you want me to get it? So James said, go ahead and finish processing the paperwork. I'm going to go ahead, So he said, excuse me, sir. So Captain Barty, he said, I want y'all to stop. Because he already knew. He said, I want y'all to stop.
About to go down.
And I want y'all to see this. So I'm like,
Lesson 101.
First day.
my first 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So basically, James, he put him in the bullpen, where they had the bullpens on receiving.
Right.
So he took him to the bullpen, and he said, working man, give him his bag lunch. So the working man gave him his bag lunch. Scott still had his his watch on and his So he got the So the dude get in there, James about this big, but the dude was cock diesel. I'm telling you, man, I never saw in my life.
In the mic.
I never saw in my life a person get their ass whipped without one punch being thrown. James grabbed him by the shoulder, the meat, or whatever. And I think he hit this dude with every corner, because he was a big dude.
Right.
Man, he hit this dude with every corner of the cell and then laid him there. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, can he do that? So the guy is unconscious. Now, mind you, it's 1,000 people down there, and ain't nobody paying that shit no mind. With me, and everybody, they're like, nah, sure, he can, and they doing what they doing. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. So the dude is out there knocked out, and I remember he got his tongue was still hanging out his mouth.
Jesus.
And James took the watch off, took his jewelry off, and put it in the bag. He took the guy bag lunch and put it on top of him and closed the bullpen.
Damn.
And finished doing what he was doing. And we did that. And then we go to the annex, first floor annex.
First floor annex, that's where I was at.
And I had one of my classmates named was Spencer. So I'm traumatized. I never left that moment. I'm traumatized.
You still there. You still there.
So now we I forgot the young lady name, but she took us to the first floor annex. Cornelius, I don't know if you knew Cornelius.
Yeah,
Little skinny dude. Cornelius. So he was transporting the working men back and forth to the kitchen from the annex. And she said, Cornelius, this is the new class, and, I want you to talk to him. So he looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, no, I'm good. So Spencer started laughing. So Cornelius was like,
What the fuck are you laughing at?
right, Cornelius, fuck is you laughing at, man? This shit is real. I'm talking about this dude went on to Vietnam. Man, this shit is real. He started spitting, and I'm like, my man Spencer, yo, this ain't that shit. He say, this shit is serious, mother. So Spencer, so then he gets up on Spencer. He said, man, you know what? You see, motherfuckers like you ain't gonna make it. So Spencer like, go ahead. He like, bitch, what? And he pulls out a knife. This is CO. Cornelius pulls out a knife. So the young lady that's gonna come to me, she tackles, and I'm like, I'll kill that bitch. I'll kill that motherfucker. And I'm looking at Spencer. So the night that I go home, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going back to that shit.
I'm not
going back.
He got to steer straight into the guard.
Hey, talking about us in there. We probably looking at this shit. He probably on us.
Steer straight to
Right. And look, I stayed
They went
up.
in the military. You say, fuck that.
Right, exactly. I stayed up all night, and I didn't decide
What the fuck you was
what I was
do?
going to do until like maybe 2 hours before it was time to come to work.
Damn.
And I said,
They had that gun squad over the side.
yeah, I said, I'm gonna get killed on these streets. I said, I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try it one day at a time.
Wow.
One day at a time. And then I survived. So that's pretty much how I got in corrections. And it is no joke, man. It's a predatory environment. In the Baltimore City Jail, haven't been to other jails, but it has no structure. It's full of anarchy. It has no rules. And everybody just do what they do. And then as it evolved, with the 18-year-olds coming in 2002.
That was a bad move.
Exactly. The corruption, because you put one of those young ladies on KOJ, 18, 19-year-olds, those seasoned criminals are going to eat them up. They come in.
And if you's a bitch guard,
right.
everybody going to know you's a bitch guard.
That's what I understand. Because around that same time, like I said, when I was going back and forth in there. All right, like 91, 91, we in the annex. So they had the youngins come through. And I guess that was T-section. It was T-section. Man, because I was there doing that, and I was over there doing the riots when they had the riots over there.
Okay.
Man, T-section, boy, them boys, yo. Because matter of fact, during the riots, it was so many of us over there, they housed us in the gym. We had to sleep in the gym right over from T-section.
Yes.
Man, it was so much stuff going on. But like you say, when you see these kids, like we were kids ourselves, but they were kids. Over there, and they just growing up with that prison, that jail. There is a jail. They think it's prison, but it's jail. But they still growing up with that jail mentality.
Yeah,
and then
the worst.
They'll be the ones like end up going to the big houses and
in real time.
And, you know what I'm saying? And doing the real time and get hurt. Because like I said before, it ain't help me. But that boot camp joint. I wish it was still around for these kids today.
Yeah,
because they fucked it up when they started letting them fucking part twos in there. The people that already did bits.
Wow, wow.
That's where it got fucked up. These niggas crying because they don't want to fucking do push-ups and shit. That shit was fun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was the guy. My cousin, because all my cousins went through that. And when I finally went, because when they gave me the 5 years, I was going to do the time. I'm on the Bluebird. I want to do the time. Right. Right before they put us on Blue Bar, because I had a hernia, they weren't going to let me in boot camp.
Right
before I got on Blue Bar, they said, they're going to let you in. And that's why I'm like, I'm doing my time. Man, I got that motherfucking over that motherfucking boot camp for like a week. Now I'm going to do this fucking boot camp. I ain't
And once you did that, they reduced the time.
They reduced the time. You just come home more. You come out with a bunch of parole.
Right.
But, and then, like I say, I violated parole 2 weeks, like before I was 2 weeks done with parole, I violated again. Yeah, but I ended up beating. I got all that straight though.
Right.
But and I'll tell y'all that later on. But So my thing is like, I'm just saying for children's sake and the younger, man, I watched that save some people's lives, man. There's guys to this day, I'm not gonna put their name out.
Right.
I mean, to me, they probably been so tough, they were suckers, but I'm talking about you were in a boot camp and that shit broke a lot of dudes, man.
It broke them, huh?
It broke them.
I never heard that. I never heard that,
It
Brian.
broke a lot of dudes.
They had that
Man,
discipline.
I was the guy, so I had to do everything. I'm in charge of the platoon. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I always was the type like the workout and all that.
Right.
Man, one time the DI had us, and it was winter time, and he had us outside, and because they got to a point where they only could tell you do stuff that they was going to do.
Right.
And man, to this day, me and him good as shit today. We like cool. So the heads out there, shorts and shit, and he making us take our shit off in the snow.
Damn.
I said, fuck, I got there. I started taking everything. I was down there in my skivvies. Man, I swear. When we got out there like years later, he's like, man, you almost broke me out that motherfucker. Yeah, but the whole thing is, I'm saying, back to the situation, man, I really believe that program could save some of these kids.
Yeah,
Right.
they still had it.
For what you do is you send these kids from the streets straight to prison. First of all, having streets, gangs, prison, their minds fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that environment of boot camp. It wasn't it was structured like military. It wasn't structured like prison.
Wow. I got you.
So it changed some people's mind. Not everybody. It's not for everybody, but I really believe the program failed when they started letting the part twos and shit in there. People that already did bits.
And they come back.
They come there trying to get over, and then they can't handle the program. They calling home and talking about this is any man. Man, that shit was It's like you going to the military, and motherfucker, you at the end of the day you a criminal. You in fucking jail.
Why did they discontinue that?
Some people, I heard some people got killed. They were saying mistreatment. Then a lot of fucking guards started getting jammed up.
Right.
They
It was
start
dirty.
fucking-
It was dirty.
One guard, man. I mean, he was a sergeant. He ended up dating the chick. The chick. He started letting females in.
They
he started
did.
dating the chick. She got him strung on the drugs and all type of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is,
Man.
I mean, I believe that they like. I think right now, I think New York still have a program.
Yeah.
But I really believe if they could try to institute
Bring
that
some of
program,
that old shit
Yeah.
back.
it
I
will
think
save
that
It
some
worked.
of these
It
kids,
worked.
man.
It did work.
It will, man. Because I watched it. I'm talking about. I know some dudes that thought they was hardcore and tough. Man, I watched that shit save them, man.
Let me ask you a quick question. Also, I noticed that a lot of guys, when they go to prison, they get some type of trade. And I'm an advocate for trade schools in the school system. How
I want
important
trade
you
schools
think?
all over, man.
Okay.
That's what I want. You know, for me working at a trade school, my thing is this. This is the problem. And
Talking to
I don't
Mike
mean to
B.
cut you off.
No.
This thing I feel about this stuff. Okay, let's think about when we went to school.
Right.
How much of what we learned in school do we actually use in the work world in the streets, other than math? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I believe they should teach, every school should have some type of trade, could teach people how to work in the work world. They don't even teach us, they want us to be worker bees all the time. They don't teach them none of the stuff that we need to survive in the real world.
Yeah, and we once had that all the Baltimore school
Yeah.
system.
Had a
You-
trade
you-
in
right, you had your vocational with your Carver Maribel,
Right.
but late we had auto mechanics, so every
Exactly.
high
And
school
that-
had
and
some
that's
type
who
of
had
trade.
these-
And that's, I
one
swear,
You had that
man,
Patterson.
if you become mayor, whatever, that's something you should try to instill. I've been talking about this for the longest, from working in the vocational school. That's the best thing, because, I mean, and even right now, like, they trying to cut some of the programs out.
Right.
Like, I mean, we had meetings, so they trying to cut some, and they trying to justify with some bullshit, stats and shit. That's bull crap. Oh, there's really no money in this. Something to cover their ass, because why they fucking the money up in the school system.
Right.
I might get fired at this, but what the fuck?
Right.
Same way I got that job, I get another one.
Well, you got a mask, they can't identify you. It ain't me.
I'm saying, they got a
Wasn't
plan,
me.
they trying to do 3D, whatever. But beyond that, I believe all schools should have some type of vocational in it. And stuff to do with the day work. Anything that got to do with computer technology,
Right.
culinary, building, anything got to do with houses, anything. I don't care if it's being real estate, any type of vocation. And I think, I'm telling you, you give kids something to live for, something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Right now, they ain't got shit to look forward to. Of course, they're going to do dumb shit.
Right.
And that dumb shit, depending on how deep they get into the dumb shit, it's gonna be how deep they gonna be fucked up. And then they
Look,
gonna,
even with the squeegee boys,
That's true.
you know how out of hand they're getting, how aggressive they get.
yeah,
Right.
knock on shit. And I used to be a squeegee boy.
Yeah,
Right.
me too.
My father had my ass out there in a raincoat and a sign and shit. Everybody else looking right.
Was you on passing Paul when you doing it on the corner by the
Yeah,
church?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
My father made me look like I'm fucking Hey, the fuck.
Right, and those recreation centers, those PAL centers, those trade schools, it give the kids structure and discipline, and that's what they don't have today.
They shut down the recs and stuff.
That's when it really started
I'm telling you,
happening.
what fucked me up though, and some people gonna get mad whoever listening to this. They fucked me up when they got rid of the recs. Then when they start giving them back, the people that they start giving the recs to.
They was already messed up.
Right.
They was,
all
you already
that
know.
shit was some organized bullshit.
It was.
So other people can get their hands with. But I mean, I even tried to get a rec at one time. Like Westside Elementary School had a rec. I tried to get that shit myself.
Right.
And when I was out there getting a little money, I wanted to build a playground in a certain area. They wouldn't let me do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My thing, nigga, ain't gonna be y'all money. I was gonna get all the hustlers I knew. Yo, let's do something for these kids. We fucking up the neighborhood.
So might as well do something right.
You know what I'm saying? A zone where this is what
Give
we
'em
ain't
back.
fucking with. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't like when you look at the politics and shit of that. They do little shit to try to make it like they making an improvement, but they put the shit in the hands of the wrong people, and they already know it because these motherfuckers already getting the palms and shit. You know what I mean? Getting their
Boy.
They always, man, it's always some bullshit person behind the shit that they try to act like it's some moves to better the city.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what you say, if the results are still the same, it's all BS. Because it's supposed to be positive results. You constantly saying, we doing this, and the more you say, the more recreation centers close. The more you say, the more PAL centers disappear. The more you say, trade schools disappear. So you saying, what you're saying is not reflecting what's going on. So it's BS.
It's BS, because even one time I was trying to get spaces to do like murals and shit, murals and stuff in the city, you know what I mean? But I was going to have a plan where I do some stuff, but I was going to have kids helping or whatever, you know what I mean? So I can give some money for them. But the people that I called gave me every fucking excuse and run around why they couldn't do shit. Matter of fact, it's one, now there's a mural out there, my daughter had part of it, right there where the Fulton Avenue and Drew Hill, the waste place.
Water waste.
That little one on the wall. My daughter helped do that with some.
Okay, got it.
But my thing is, when I was going to all these guys and females I seen doing the murals, and they was telling me, oh, we get paid $15,000, $25,000, whatever the case may be, But when I called the place, oh, we don't do that. I was like, these people ain't lying to me. And these people's from California, Pennsylvania. Right. They was not from Baltimore. And the whole thing is, from what I heard, a lot of stuff over in these people, they was giving the money back to the local artists in the city to do this artwork, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
It wasn't. Right. Certain people was getting it, but you call that, you gonna get run around the table. And then the people that I met, they was from different states.
Wow.
And they was getting their money, man.
Yeah, we need a lot of accountability. Even with, and when I tell the city council representatives of these areas is that's your area, and you responsible when you ride right past the area, and it be it's the sanitation going crazy, this, that. You have to get out that vehicle. That's your area. That's what you get paid for. That's what you sign up for. And I tell all the citizens, when you see a problem, like you say, money that's supposed to be allocated to a certain area and it's not given to the local artists, then you have to get on those politicians, man. And they live in the neighborhood, so we got to put the pressure on them like we put the pressure on everybody else. I'm not saying do any harm, but we have to make our elected officials accountable. If not, they're going to serve other people other than our community.
Why is it, quick question, why is it so hard for people to talk to their council members? You know what I mean?
Because they make themselves unavailable.
They make their now I can say one thing, and I'm gonna speak on behalf of this one person. If every councilman, in which they aren't, could be like Christopher Burnett, somebody that's physically,
he was on our block.
Somebody that's physically in the community, somebody that you physically can talk to, and when you ask him to do something, he gonna bust his butt to do it. And a lot of that comes from politicians being in the pockets of certain corporate entities.
Right. And then they owe people to say they...
So when the money come in, they're not going to give it to the demographic that's supposed to. They're going to give it to somebody else. So always find out who's backing your politicians. Yeah. And anybody could be a politician in our city. Yeah. Tell them, look at the blueprint of Christopher Burnett.
Yeah, I'll give shout out to Christopher Burnett. His mother is a good friend, and his grandmother pretty much raised me and Marcus.
So
they live right next door to us.
When they take the money and when they do the census and stuff like that, trying to figure out what we need in our area, like where's it going and who getting it?
See, the thing is that with the federal money that we get from the census, and that's why it's so important, because right now our census count is about 593,000, but we have an estimate count of about 620,000. So when people don't call in, we don't get that federal money. But the federal money and the money comes in to your mayor. It's incorporated into our $3.5 billion budget. The thing is that when our mayor get the money, and most of our mayors, and I'm not going to put whoever the next mayor is out there because
AKA
I don't
Afro.
right. I don't know what right. I can't say what they're going to do. I can't say what they're going to do.
He might surprise.
He
us.
might surprise us. So I'm only speaking on prior mayors. When they are financed by these corporate entities,
Right.
that $3.5 billion budget is going to affluent areas. It's going to areas that traditionally get money, and the other areas are neglected, divested in, and that's why Baltimore is a tale of two cities. And my platform was equally investing in all of Baltimore's 14 city districts
Right.
with equity, transparency, and accountability, because Baltimore is a tale of two cities. The majority of Baltimore, where you have your 63% African-American demographics, that's neglected.
It is
And it
neglected.
reflects in your crime. And my thing is, how do you resolve a lot of crime in Baltimore? First, you have to enhance people's social economic conditions.
Exactly.
If people are living in poverty, 24% of the population live below poverty. If you're taking the recreation centers, the PAL centers, they don't have a supermarket, they don't have equitable policing. All this is conducive to crime. Treat Cherry Hill like you treat Federal Hill. And that'll reduce crime automatically.
And you're right, and that's what we was talking about
Good
earlier.
point, sir.
And I'm like, even with like,
I don't mean to go political, y'all, but
there's a lot of programs out here that they don't let us aware, they don't make us aware of.
This
And
is
just
true.
like this, this is something I've always said. Look at your neighborhoods. This town, you just look right down North Avenue from east to west. All these fucking abandoned buildings and shit that the city ain't doing shit with. Why don't y'all revitalize and open up stores and give some people in the neighborhood jobs?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna put the store here. We're gonna make this committee or whatever the case. Y'all run this to help, and this money, the money y'all generate from here, help to beautify and fix up your neighborhoods.
Yep.
Give somebody something. They always taking shit. Like I'm saying, you got all this money on this construction of roads and shit, the same fucking roads every year, they'll never get fixed. Same fucking potholes, but you got all these fucking workers out here digging in the same fucking spot every year.
Every year.
Look at all the street. You go Greenmount, that shit been like that for years, and they put some little bullshit asphalt up there, then they be working on it in a half a year later.
Right, and I would like to speak on that note also. And the reason why our politicians, for one, don't do what they supposed to do, besides them being in the pockets of our corporate entities, you have
It's real.
68% of the population of Baltimore,
That don't
which
vote.
is 349,541 individuals that do not vote. And the reason that it's important, not even registered to vote, the reason that it's important to vote is that you can elect officials that you think that can represent you. It could be somebody from your own hood. It could be somebody from your own church, somebody that you know. But if we do not register to vote, anytime you live in a city where you have 32% of the population that only vote, and the 68 do not, you're going to have an unbalance, because those same traditional voters are going to vote for the same traditional leaders, and the corporate entity is going to support the same. That's why you get the same type of leaders, because they're not going to let anybody in there with a different mindset.
Right.
That's what, and I always say, if Douglas projects, Perkins projects, McCullough projects, if they were voting communities, it would be more politicians in those communities than drug dealers.
But you know what the fucked up part about that is? They got us in this fucked up mind state that our vote don't count.
Right.
So you got all these young people and all these people, they vote because they feel as though this shit ain't count. It's some type of bamboozlement anyway. They feel like we gonna vote and all you gonna do is throw our votes the fucking way anyway. That's how people mindset thinking. You gotta think. You could just go in your communities and ask that question. So just imagine your community times all these other communities times all these other states with the same people with the same mindset. So that's a whole big borough of people that ain't even voting because they believe that shit ain't counting.
So what I'm doing, as a candidate, I was the only candidate that went to all the public housings in Baltimore. You know, from the Poe homes to O'Donnell House, you know, and I documented it. And our politicians, because they are controlled by a corporate entity, they don't take the time to educate their demographic because they know that they're going to lose their sponsorship. And I go, but like you said, we got to try to figure out a way to
Go in the trenches.
Go in the trenches and encourage people and explain to people that the reason they lynched people, the reason they did so much for people not to vote, it has to mean something.
Yeah.
But we have to educate our people because Baltimore is a microcosm for the rest of the urban areas. We are not a culture of voters, and we have no interest in voting, and we got the leaders to understand the power to vote. We try to figure out a way to get rappers to start rapping about it, to get dudes on the corner. I got this young lady named Teresa Harris. We ready to do a video in honor of John Lewis. So anything that we can do that they can relate to.
Exactly, that's about relating. That's another problem I got, like, with our people, man. And it goes back to the mind frame we have, and that was really instilled in us with, like, with subliminal messages and all that other kind of shit. Like, we will stand together for the bullshit.
Yes.
But won't stand together for the shit that really makes sense, the shit that really going to change our lives.
Count.
Yeah.
Right.
You, like I say, I want people to, that same energy, when you see Lil, people gonna get it wrong and take it wrong, but I don't really give a fuck.
Right. This mixed station,
like
you
I'm
all
saying,
right.
yeah, I'm saying, no, what I'm saying is, all right, and I'm gonna use me as an example.
Okay.
I'm a nigga in the streets doing my thing. I fucking get shot or harassed by police, but I really, even though he's supposed to respect his job in a certain manner and don't let me get under his skin, one of my buddies got shot like that by the police years ago.
Wow.
Police chased him, fell, and my buddy he get back and run back. I was laughing, police shot him in his gut. He got $1.5 million, but that shit gone. I'm just saying, like,
right, I
what I'm
got
saying.
you, right.
But I'm just saying, I'm gonna use me for an example instead of using him. I sit down there and get hurt because something that I might have helped it going.
Right.
I got the whole community standing for me, free brand, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't do that shit, and I come to them on some old regular shit, I'm a person that been in school and never got in trouble. Man, I want to do this for the community. Niggas ain't standing up for that shit.
Right.
They stand up. Yeah, it's like we always back the small shit and try to make that shit. We'll take a small hill and try to make that shit a mountain and shit to stand for something. But the shit that we should be standing on to build our communities and build our people up.
Right.
We be for that shit for a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then, fight this, support it, then all of a sudden that shit start dwindling down. But the wrong shit, we stay up on, you know what I'm saying? Somebody talk about some, like say, look how long that crab bullshit came up. That nigga said that white guy said whatever he said.
Vince Crab.
Yeah, they made that shit a big, fuck that shit.
Right.
Fuck him.
Right.
How about standing up for some shit with our schools, with our kids, the condition of the schools and shit? Yeah. How about, you know what I'm saying, the condition of these places kids living in, fucked up, half abandoned ass houses that you paying these high ass rents? How about that shit?
And not only that, I understand we need to bring down these Confederate flags and these statues and all that. All that needs to come down. But what the black man have to understand is that when it comes to homicides, we are our worst enemy.
Exactly.
We need to focus on that. As of right now, we have 206 murders, and most of them are coming from black men. So yes, let's march on the George Floyd, but also we have to make black men in our community accountable, and we have to march on them because they on some Ku Klux Klan and skinhead mentality because we're committing genocide toward ourselves. So they're enemies of the people. Exactly. So we have to stop that self-annihilation, and we need to make that the vocal point, not just when CBS and all these networks want to pick up an individual. Now, don't get me wrong, George Floyd, it should symbolize what happened to him because that was brutal, and the whole world should rise up against that type of behavior. But we need to rise up against the type of behavior when you're having over 300 murders in the streets of Baltimore every year, and we need to rise up about that as well.
And I told him, I said this a couple weeks ago to people, man, like, they may get mad and say this, like I said, they are, people that know me know I don't give a fuck. Black lives ain't gonna matter to nobody till they matter to black lives.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. That's what people don't
say that
understand.
in the mic again.
Black lives ain't gonna matter to nobody. Our black dollar ain't gonna matter to nobody until it matters to us.
Exactly.
Black lives ain't gonna matter to nobody, no other race until black lives matter to black lives. When we sit down there and instead of fucking, like you say, shoot, okay, there's no excuse for them that they do the shit they doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then when little JoJo shoot little Ricky for fucking nothing.
It's no biggie.
You run around free little Ricky.
Right.
JoJo was fucking. I mean, Ricky was fucking wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
JoJo did over a bag of weed or some dumb shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got just the same way we use that same energy against them motherfuckers when the other people, them clear people when they fuck us over. We gotta use that against our people when we fuck ourselves over. Because no one's gonna respect us till we respect ourselves.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's why they can do what they want, because they know we don't respect ourselves as a
Exactly.
unit.
And we only get mad for like
We give a fuck
10 minutes or a week.
Exactly. Yup. And we give a
Shit
fuck.
lasts a month.
And we give a
Every
fuck
day,
about
bro.
our little circle, not
Right.
the big picture. And they
Right.
know that. So what they do is, just like what they do to the politicians, okay, we gonna slide him a little extra. He's gonna turn on it. You gonna turn on
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Same shit they did back with the March on Washington. The March on Washington ain't supposed to be what it was back then. They grabbed the motherfucking ones that they ain't really want to go all the way. We gonna do something, get them some shit to keep them on our side, make it look like they really fighting, but they not.
Yeah, you're
I mean,
right.
that's all- and
You're
that's all
It's
it is, man.
Politics is all
But-
about money, but we need to take the money out of politics
Exactly.
and bring back public service. We need people like D.
Good,
Burns.
That's
We
good.
need your Adam Clayton Powell's. We need your my man up in D.C., Mindberg. We need those type
We
of
need people that
grassroots
really give a
individuals.
fuck, not
About the
Exactly.
really
neighborhood.
give a fuck. And I ain't even talking about the money. Like, you don't. Who the fuck want? I'm gonna tell you, and this will change my mind when I like with certain things. When I moved up Jersey, right? My mother moved me up Jersey. I wasn't used to people. Like when somebody say what time it is down here, you thought you gonna get robbed or some shit. Like when people like what time I make or
If there's anything, if you getting asked the time to Lexington Market, yes.
yes. When people come out, they how you doing? They speaking to you, and like every time I used to go to another state or something, or I go I bring pictures or I bring video or whatever,
Right.
and I let people see like, yo, everybody that shit. We always thought the way we live was normal. This shit ain't normal.
No, it's not.
This shit that we go through is not normal. You should not wake up to gunshots and just, it's just a gunshot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because what comes behind it? Somebody could be dead. I mean, it's like violence is just normal to us. It became normal. And then when I moved up there for a while and seen
Right.
peace,
Right.
I'm like, even like now, I do deliveries for Amazon.
Right.
When I go out to them little spots like I say 7-Eleven or something, like, yo, this how you supposed to live. This is supposed to be normal.
Exactly.
That shit that
Supposed to be
we think slick and shit that we glorify in our raps and in our video, that shit ain't normal.
It's
That's an animalistic mentality that he's trying to keep in our heads.
You're right. It's definitely not normal. It's like we have a ceasefire in Sandtown. Why don't they have a ceasefire in Canton? Because the conditions isn't conducive to that. So all you have to do is change the conditions, and then you won't need these type of organizations. But instead of changing the conditions, they want to continue to fund the organizations. Now, don't get me wrong, the organizations are good right now because of the urgency.
Exactly.
But it's not supposed to be generational. This is supposed to be a temporary fix until we enhance that environment, and then we won't need it anymore. But we turn it into a career project. No, I don't want to have a hugs don't shoot or ceasefire all of my kids' lives. At some point, I want it to serve its purpose, and then I want the government, I want the parents, and I want the citizens to change that environment.
Man, half the time they take these movements, I hate to say it, I mean, I love some of the movements, but they take these fucking movements and turn that shit to a fucking circus. You know what I'm saying? For real. Everything in the turn to be about the money. You know what I'm saying? We sit down there and really be into, I mean, just think about it. Like, we think about the Million Man March and all that shit. Like, when it first came out, it was so powerful.
Right.
Well, it's powerful.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you look at some of that shit now, it's just like they be doing this shit just because, oh, we can sell T-shirts there. And I sell T-shirts, I'm telling you. I don't sell T-shirts at those spots. I told you one time, that's when I was part of it with Mr. Muhammad and them.
Right.
But I was doing it for them.
Right.
But I'm saying when I go to them places, man, it's not even about the movement anymore. It's about what
about
fucking
money.
money you can
What
make.
you make off of.
Yes,
it.
And so nothing don't change. It's like going to a fucking show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if we're gonna do something meaningful, let's do something meaningful, and let's take that money and really do something meaningful.
And every Christmas or every Thanksgiving or even now, it's great to give out foods. But if you give out jobs, you won't have to give out food.
And that's another thing. People said, and that bothers me also. I mean, I like when people doing it. It looks generous. But then you got, every time somebody want to give out a fucking sandwich or a turkey, they want to sit down there and get on social media and show themselves doing it. I don't show the shit that I do that really
Just
means
do
something.
it, man.
I don't
Just
never
do it.
record it because somebody else, if your stuff is to be seen, someone else is going to record your greatness. You don't have to record your own
Absolutely.
greatness.
This
You
is
know what I
true.
mean? But my thing is, what gets me with these motherfuckers, like, okay, Like you just said, give a turkey to no motherfucker. Remember the old shit? Teach a man to fish and eat for a lifetime.
We need jobs, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And stop
Empower
giving them a
people,
fish so you
right.
can eat for a day to make yourself look like you're
Exactly.
so great. Nigga, that's what we had B. Gaddy for.
Exactly.
And she was real with it.
And she was real
yeah,
with it.
when I was coming up during the 70s and early 80s, they weren't giving out turkeys. They was giving out them summer jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
You had summer jobs, and you could get your own straight leg leads and your cream
There
puff
you go.
and your Georgetown jacket and whole 9 yards. And I
Yeah.
think we need to bring that concept.
Opportunities, exactly,
And then you had a
opportunities.
trade if you couldn't get money. You didn't have to sell drugs or panhandle. If you knew how to work on electronics, you worked on electronics. You worked on the car because you had a trade. You had a skill set. We need to start empowering people with jobs and trades.
And that's the only way
and
you can
education.
that's the only way you can empower them.
Especially for men and young teens, man.
Yes.
Because we as men, we workers. We was born, we laborers, man.
Right.
That's what we do. And when we can't provide for ourselves, man, we feel less than.
That's
we don't
true.
have no hope,
Yes.
no
Yes, you're right.
ambition, no vision. We feel like we ain't going nowhere. Where we at now, we feel like we ain't. That's
Right.
we ain't gonna get no further than that, man. You guys know what it's like to be in between jobs and
Yes.
you got a family.
Right.
You know
So
what
true.
I mean?
So
You
true.
feel like if I can't feed my family, I might as well be dead.
Yes.
Right.
And you might
Yes.
do something stupid like
Yes.
fences.
Right. Yes.
Like
Yes.
that shit. All right, Sandtown. Let's say Sandtown. My mother, because my mother owned one of them houses. Let's say Sandtown 90. I was locked up like 92, 93. They built them houses down there. But what they had, some of the people that had them houses, the original owners, they had to help build them houses.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? They had to go through classes and do stuff and just
wow.
be there.
And build a house.
Yeah, like certain things.
That's good.
So my thing is like this: when you look at, and I'm going back to North Avenue, that raggedy ass fucking North Avenue that we supposed to pride ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we got all these abandoned buildings. Okay, how about getting the neighborhood together? The city got money to do what the fuck they want to do with it.
Yep.
And hide it where they want to hide it at. My
Yep.
thing is, you get these community people together. We're gonna have some real contractors. We're gonna have some of y'all's laborers learn how to help build. We're gonna rehab these houses
Right.
and these storefronts, and then we're gonna make a contract with y'all, and we're gonna help y'all get these stores started to help. And this money that y'all gonna generate, not just pay yourself, the money that's generated from this place gonna help beautify or fix up some more stuff in the neighborhood. You can generate your own. Okay, you got motherfuckers, whether it's jobs, whether it's social services, people spend money.
Right.
Like in this pandemic, people spent money. Just imagine if they put these programs up and they start building them and these people and these people spending that money back into their own neighborhoods because these other people don't spend their money in okay, on the other side of Northern Parkway. Y'all know what I'm talking about, where the Jews at.
Yes, sir.
Their money circulate within themselves. If we get a penny of theirs, it's because the last thing they can do, they got the last resort.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to start doing. We got to circulate the money, our money in our own communities. But
Well, let me say this before anybody. I must say, since we grew up on the east side,
I grew up on the west side, bro.
Yeah, but
it's
you
like I
was
grew
on
up
the
both.
east side.
He said,
You
"Well, I
was
can't
east
never
side,
deny
yes.
that, brother." But I like that.
And the whole idea is that it was a difference from living up Passing Park than it was on Wolf and Nigger.
Right.
Okay, a big difference.
Yeah, that
It
was
was a
our-
big
that was our-
difference.
that was our
Now the
line.
thing about it, we did all the selling up there on Passing Park and Jefferson and all of that, but it was a real big difference between the people up the hill than it was down in the hill.
Patterson
But not
Park-
only that, you got y'all get down there where you
Patterson
at.
Park
They
in
got.
Preston and Patterson Park in Baltimore.
But not only that, down there where y'all was at, you got John Howard. Y'all ain't gonna do too much right there with John
Hold
Howard.
on, but no, let's
It
get
was all the
this,
change.
let's get this straight. When I became a correctional officer, it was cats that killed people that I knew that lived in that neighborhood, and they came to the annex. Okay, now the tripping part about that is that because of the neighborhood, John Hopkins wanted that property. I'm always going to say this.
Yeah, they let
And
it go
that's
down.
why they let it
They
go
let it go
on.
down. They let it go
They
and let it run
go
down.
Exactly.
And so when it got down
They
to
bought them
certain
houses for
people,
pennies.
Exactly.
pennies. So people that were still there, like my mother and Kevin Burnett grandmother, who still lived there too, they was all part of a coalition in that area. And what's supposed to happen, that some of the people that lived there, what they did is they gave the people money so they can get them out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so then the same row of houses where you had 10 houses there, now you take that same plot of land and then you make apartments and you make 500% increase on the same lot.
Exactly.
So even when you go all the way up to North Avenue, all that area, 4x4, everything, it's all going to be John Hopkins.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is.
And you see did you see like have y'all noticed if y'all noticed this though?
Yo.
Have y'all noticed this? Like even some of the new developments they are building around,
Right.
They just like y'all say, right, the one right across from Mondawmin. They got one near Greenmount before you get they built.
Right.
Everything is like you say, that plot of land that used to be row houses. It's just fucking. It's new wage tenements, apartments.
Right. Because
Same
they want
shit.
to take a 500%.
I was talking to this professor at John Hopkins University, and we going back and forth. And she said, I'm in this conference, and she teach urbanology. She teaches. She's an expert at John Hopkins University on urban development. And she said, I'm gonna stop this conversation real short, old white woman. She said, I'm gonna stop it real short. She said, I'm gonna tell you this: in Baltimore City, straight up, there's no political will or desire to enhance the quality of life of black people.
I believe it.
Bottom line.
I believe
bottom
that.
line, and it's recorded. So then this is the John Hopkins. So the thing is, everything that's going on, like you said, is basically designed. And this is why everybody has to get involved, particularly the people who are being abused by this socioeconomic blueprint. And this is what we're going. This is going. There's no political will. There's no desire. And if it continue to go on now, there's going to be a lot of development with a lot of displacement because the Section 8 vouchers, they're going out to Edgewood, they're going out to Aberdeen, they're going all over.
And they hate it. Them officers
Exactly.
out there,
And they're bringing a different demographic in.
Inside.
And before you know it, Baltimore's going to be just like D.C. D.C. used to be called Chocolate City.
Now it's not.
Right, they didn't gentrify that thing and displaced a lot of people, and they want Baltimore the same. And the 63% African Americans in the city, we got to start demanding equal access here in Baltimore. If not, that 63 going to go down to 33%.
Yeah, because they still want to buy my house, and I've been living there for 21 years.
But they be putting these puzzle houses
That's
up
crazy.
and make them look good, and people really think they got something. You ain't if you own your property, you ain't fucking have a house on property you own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like you say, like now they making them. People buying them or renting this stuff because they look good. Thinking you ain't upgrade. Like I said, they upgraded projects. Some of them motherfuckers.
That's what they
You know
did.
what I'm saying? Upgrade like the
doing
ones
one
the
right
ones in
now.
apartments. They
Across from John
upgraded
Hopkins.
projects. They look
That's the
good.
projects.
Then you got your head up thinking you're doing something good.
Exactly.
Watch 10 years from now. It's gonna look like the old projects.
It's almost like jail. You become comfortable in your own confinement.
I don't want to be in none of that
Comfortable in
shit,
your
man.
own. That's why they put
Right.
TVs and cable. You have guys not even really trying to go home because they're looking at cable. They living good. They eating 3 meals, so they making it comfortable so you can live in your own misery. And it's not an urgency for a lot of guys to get out.
Well,
And
let
that's
me.
what we gotta change.
I'm gonna go to Jared because I know that you deal with a lot of substance abuse folk. How has it changed from the time when you were doing it? Because where we work at, they in there all day long.
Yeah, they got. I don't know if y'all remember. I know you do. All y'all, we all in the same age bracket. Back in the day when they had. What was
Don't
it
say
called,
pharmacokinetics.
man? No. No, when they had the China White out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically,
yeah.
it's basically the same thing, man, with the fentanyl.
Fentanyl shit.
Out in the street,
Hey,
man.
they put that shit in
And
weed now, man.
they putting it in weed and also putting it in crack cocaine,
Yeah, they been
man.
doing that. a little.
Yeah.
So how are they addressing that?
They can't like really do anything about it. You understand what I'm saying? People coming in and they overdosing, man, and the numbers
'Cause it
are
only take-
large.
It don't take
large.
nothing.
That
It
numbers
don't
are
take
large,
nothing to
man.
overdose off that.
Yeah, it don't
it-
take much. It don't take much
You
at
won't
all,
even
man.
see. You can't even see the sprinkles on some of the shit. And if you're a person, say you smoke grass, I don't mean to cut you off, but you don't do none of the other stuff. It ain't gonna take much of that shit to fuck with you.
No, it ain't.
You know, like matter of fact, it's crazy because I got a phone call yesterday. A buddy of mine told me. Matter of fact, not a phone. I got a phone call to do some work, so we was out this place digging trenches, and my buddy's like, his bud, they all smoke.
Right.
One of his buddies got fucked up, like bought some weed, and the shit was laced with fentanyl.
Dang.
One got sick and the other one died.
Damn.
my thing is that's crazy shit.
Numbers.
And I'm like, you got these people just recreational. Like, I never use drugs, so that's one thing. I ain't never, not even smoking weed. Like, my thing is, you got these kids out here that's using recreational drugs. They ain't thinking they doing nothing wrong. Right. Just imagine how many kids might get. We think just getting sick, or so we think something wrong with them. Or you see how these kids now, they smoking weed now. Back in the day, used to get fat in the munchies. These motherfuckers getting skinny, skin dark down when they eat.
Everything.
They look like addicts.
They addicts.
So my
true.
thing is like,
they
just imagine how much shit is probably really laced with this bullshit out here.
Absolutely.
And then our kids getting hold of it. They just think they recreational smoking weed.
But you know, they not only that, but they also cutting it with benzos, cutting it with Xanax bars.
Xanax bars.
So with
Wow.
the perks and the oxys, you know what I mean? They cutting it with the fentanyl and the Xanax bars. They recompressing them back in the pill form.
Dang.
And you have absolutely no idea what's
What's
in
that
them,
shit
man.
in?
So the drug treatment programs educate me on the drug treatment program. Now I go to a lot of them basically just to see how they run, but the thing that perplexed me, so to speak, is there an end game, or are we constantly treating the
Like a
symptoms and not going
Like a
after the
Band-Aid.
cure? I think that's it. As being a leader, so to speak, in the community, I'm looking for an end game, some type of solution
Okay,
instead
so
of
I will say
constant
this.
treatment.
I will say this. To be honest with you, there probably is, not going to name them, there probably is a whole lot of treatment centers and recovery houses that probably, they're in it for the money. They probably don't deserve to be open.
Right.
That I
Gotcha.
do not refer people to
Wow.
at all.
Wow.
Because I absolutely know.
You already
what
know
they
what's
about.
about. Right.
Okay, so when it comes to recovery, you guys, recovery is a personal choice. You understand what I'm saying? And it is a process.
Gotcha.
So because it's a personal choice, like when we send people to detox and stuff like that, people will choose to go to detox and won't do no more than 3, 4 to 5 days and won't choose to go no further. So they'll see themselves in a vicious cycle and continue to come back through the system.
Yeah, talking to
Because it's a personal choice. The way that I chase crack cocaine and heroin is how I chase recovery. The things that I did 18 years ago, I'm doing to this day. My life is structured. I come home to my family. I do not make no stops. If I do make stops, it's for my wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? I get
Thank
some
you.
bread, some milk, and
Yeah.
I come home.
Come home.
I got people in my life that hold me accountable.
Responsibility.
I got people
Yes,
that's
sir.
in my circle
Yes,
that,
sir.
that,
Yes,
that,
sir.
that will say, Joy, what you thinking, your ideas, you need to go back, you need to do some research. I got people in my life that will not let me stay in the same place that I am. My life is structured now, man.
So your support circle is vital
It's
also.
It's all
very
about support.
important.
It's about support.
Very important. And that's one of the problems we have, and is that everybody don't have a decent support system, a decent foundation. And now, because of the COVID, we're doing NA and AA online.
And not only that, Jerry, answer this. And this, I mean, and you tell me, I want your opinion on this, because I always have a problem with this. Like their cousin, which is my best friend, he works for a place with drug treatment, something like that. But I don't understand why. To me, treating an addict or whatever, or like I have friends that I grew up with. I've never thought that, and I wrote a song about Big Fat. I never thought that they would become. None of us ever thought we'd become hustlers, junkies, and none of that.
Right.
You know. And I have friends that, to this day, they still fucked up off this shit. I'm talking about when I came home in 91, after we came home from that first, what's the name? I had dudes addicted to crack. We were 7, they were 7, I was 19, they were 17.
Dang.
But my thing is, these treatment centers treating these addicts with another drug. So you're getting them hooked on another drug. My thing is like this. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people right now, their girlfriends or whatever, addicted to Suboxones and all this type of stuff.
Right.
It's just like a motherfucker that used to smoke crack. Now all I do is smoke weed. You're still getting high.
So why can't they go back to weaning people off
That's what I'm saying.
the
Why don't
drugs
they
that
try?
they on?
But it's like he said, you know what it is? The support factor. And the thing about it, not only that, brother.
It's money.
It's a money.
It's a big
You make
money.
so much money.
It's
It's
a
a
big
big.
money.
They make so much money off these treatment centers.
Yeah, they
they
do.
getting all this government funds, and for these drugs that they putting them
So
on.
the more bodies they get, the more funding they get. and
Oh,
the more-
absolutely.
drugs. Like
That's why it's hard to put people off of certain programs and stuff, because they state they funded. So you can't be putting people off your program, even people that you know still getting high. Sometimes you gotta give them a grace and allow them to do it, because that's what you're funding. Your numbers gotta be up.
Wow,
So
your
it's
numbers
like-
have to
You're
be
the
up.
politician.
Wow.
It's money over quality of life. Is
And that's what
It is what
that's
it
make me
is.
mad.
Right.
You gotta think, and all this stuff funds all our resources. The courts.
Yeah.
Oh, all this stuff funds all our resources. The courts. You know, police wouldn't have no job. The courts wouldn't have no. The people working courts won't have no job. Jails would have if it wasn't for crime and drugs.
Crime.
All this stuff is a vicious cycle
Right.
that
Right.
you know what I'm saying. Like if you really wanted to change something, I mean, it's not a lot of money in their mind. It's not a lot of money in having people doing the right thing.
Right.
I believe it is.
So you're gonna get more opposition.
You
When I,
gonna
when I went out there, I was on one debate out at Reginald F. Lewis Museum, and I went on the mic, went right after Mayor Dixon, and I said that my platform is to equally invest in all of Baltimore's 14 city districts with equity, transparency, and accountability. Baltimore is a tale of two cities. Poor people are neglected, wealthy communities thrive. And that they try to ostracize me from every debate because, and I told them I don't accept any money from any corporate entities because they are perpetuating what's going on. So my message was more of a threat, and I was trying to talk inclusion, but they weren't trying to hear that. So you're gonna get a lot of opposition when you start messing with money.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You mess with their money. That's why they only let certain people in certain positions.
Yes, sir.
They ain't letting certain people get them positions that's dealing with that money, with that, and especially when you talk that mayor and all that shit. You fucking with the harbor. They ain't letting you play with that shit. They ain't letting you play with that harbor money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if we go that route, then you might say what happened with Captain Pooh.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's my,
Definitely, that's what happened to her.
Yeah.
and that's what get me, man.
They
Like
got
if you look
Yeah.
at this type of stuff. Like okay, let's look at the areas that are flourishing.
Right.
That don't have the crime and shit in there.
Right.
So you're going to tell me you
Malpractice.
can't? You can't tell me that you can't sustain a community can't sustain without crime and shit.
Right.
And right
They
next to
can't.
the hood.
Yeah,
Right next to the hood.
But the way they got it is that like we need these negative things to happen to make everything work. That's bullshit.
they got a police over in Harbor East movie theater who continually walks around through the whole theater. Like you're not gonna tear that movies up like they tore the harbor
Right.
movies
Yeah,
up.
they-
Yeah, remember
they
back
take
in the
their
day with the
property.
harbor. You right.
Yeah, they got
You
the
right.
police, their
You
property.
right.
That's
It's
crazy.
the
in
police.
the Harbor East movie, walking around back and forwards.
And that's
Wow.
crazy. I just really believe that, man. They just maybe not want to use the methods. There's so many ways, like you say, to empower people. Believe me, okay, you got people out here getting high and all that.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, I'm gonna just use us right here. We all want to live good. We
Right.
all want
We all wanna live
to
good.
live in a nice house.
Right.
We all want to be able to go and spend money and do what we want to do. Don't you think these other people that even going in them real fucked up situations want that? But if you don't find a way to present them opportunities, like I'm saying, I know a lot of drug addicts or ex-drug addicts that changed their life so much. Like they can be changed, but you got to give them something to live
You
for.
need the opportunity.
The opportunities,
Exactly.
give them something to live for.
Exactly.
If somebody ain't got nothing to live for, of course they gonna.
Exactly.
You show somebody something different, and they're like, damn, I don't need this shit to get over in my day. Because the whole thing is, get them another drug ain't gonna fix the problem. They like say they gotta be that tough weaning for real shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They gotta be that cold turkey. That's the only way you gonna get over a drug addict. Because like I tell people like this, and it's the same thing I tell some of the females I know about weight loss and stuff. y'all go through all this stuff. Like say you're gonna break up. You're a heavy set girl, so you're gonna break up. Then you gonna lose all this weight, and you feel good about yourself. But if all you did it for is to impress that man or some
You
man,
gonna
as soon as he
get
get
bigger.
upset, you're gonna get bigger.
Bigger again.
It's the same thing with a drug addict. Like I got a friend who used to be a good friend. He used to be one of my best friends too. And for some reason, he can't leave the drugs alone. He go to these motherfucking rehabs, stay there for 6-7 months, look good, get on something. Now I just seen the other day he fitting all the fuck out, and I say, yo, you was doing this shit when it was real drugs out here.
Right.
Now you fucking with this fitting out. Like, look at your body, look at your skin. And I say, you just came from rehab not even 5 months ago. Now you look like you was thinking for a fucking year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like. I mean, my thing is, you cannot wean these people off drugs with another drug. All you're going to do is start another epidemic. You going to start another situation.
they
all.
want, though.
That's
Yeah,
all they
what they
want.
want.
Because that shit gets them the fucking government funding that they want to do. If they can do what the fuck they want, then they slide, act like they giving you to, I'm going to give it to this company, but I'm giving him a portion. They don't know I'm sliding
But
something else on the side.
I have seen quite a few success stories where people used the the methadone and Suboxone
And got off.
successfully and got off and living life.
But you
Right,
gotta
they,
get off.
it was, they,
The
was-
numbers
right, it was-
are-
it was-
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Numbers are
they were weaned off,
Numbers are
and sometimes you do need other drugs to wean people off. But my thing is the idea is just weaning them off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to find a way to wean. The whole thing is, let's find a method to wean them off everything.
Quickly.
And yeah, and I thought that the Met was a process.
Nah, there's some people that's
Man,
on
that
that shit
works.
for years.
That
Right.
works. It's like, man,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
swear to God,
Yeah.
I'd
If you
rather
don't,
see
if you don't say nothing about detox, they'll let you stay on it for the rest of your life.
No, it
I hate
you
to
don't-
say,
Wow.
I hate to say,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you just go and just say, I just want it,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
won't say
They'll let
nothing
you.
more.
That's why they call it methadone maintenance.
other than these
They'll let you
motherfuckers
use
shooting
it.
up, other
do they promote detox? Do they promote?
No. If you don't say anything about it, they're
But
not
like you
gonna-
said, it's a voluntary thing. That's what make it bad.
Right, but at the same time,
not
if you know somebody can a path to actually curing somebody, then that's something that you want to promote. You know, I would tell you, okay, now I'm giving you this meth or I'm giving you this drug, but the object is to wean you totally off to go into detox because you don't need that type of language.
But you know what?
But you
Something
say
he
they
said,
don't-
and I
they don't
said
promote
too.
that.
You know the problem is, if they get everybody off drugs, where they gonna make their money? You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, other than the
Right.
spiking and shit like that, I'd rather see them on the heroin than the goddamn motherfucking meth. They look the same way. When you look at them on the corner, go to North and fucking Passer Park, North and
North
what's
and
name?
Gay.
You mean North and Gay?
They probably met place. They look still like they on that shit, don't they?
Well, it slowed down since the pandemic, so
They still out there.
They out
Go
there.
Go there at a
It ain't
certain
many. It
time.
ain't
Go
as
there at a certain
many.
time.
Man,
Or a certain
not only
time.
that, you got motherfuckers holding shops right near the goddamn
right around the corner. They got a 24-hour
you got
shop
the
joint.
young boys, man, who actually robbing people as they come out the methadone program.
They take
They
that
want the meth. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They don't have
Yeah, 'cause
security,
they
so
taking
they don't have
Percocets and
security there.
Oxy,
Like
Yeah,
that?
they taking, yeah.
Right.
But you know, and not a lot of
certain
kids.
spots.
Like,
Certain-
Now, you know,
yeah.
and not only that, a lot of the kids, young kids now, that you see out here, is getting like these guys, like they starting to get on heroin and stuff. They started from the pills, but like you said, they mix the pills with all type of shit now. Like now, these kids are starting to get down. They starting to take fentanyl and heroin and stuff because they need that. They need that fix now. They becoming addicts.
they're coming in young,
Yeah,
man.
the young.
I mean, we've
boy.
gotten to the point that we might have to have some type of curriculum in the school system in terms of getting kids away from
but
using
you-
drugs and things
but you
like that.
know
'Cause we
this
got to
though?
reach kids
Almost
early.
2 hours.
But you know this though, and what I don't like. I mean, I'm not gonna get into certain things. I don't want nobody to try, but I'm saying,
Right.
you see how they promote and glorify this shit. Like, okay, like I'm saying, the marijuana thing. Now, they locked all of us up for shit like that.
Right.
Now, okay, you got marijuana stores and shit now. You know what I'm saying? So now they got the kids think, oh, it's legal, it's cool, I can do it now.
Right.
But they ain't tell them, okay, some of this shit has got some other byproducts in it
Yeah.
that's going to be. And
going that
we
hard
all learned about back in the day, weed was the gateway drug.
Gateway. It
Right.
always was the gateway.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I don't like the way society perpetuate things and make things look like it's so cool, but it really is to hurt us and keep us falling back.
It's cool when it's time to make a dollar.
The dollar, exactly.
Right, when it's advantageous for them, and that's the problem.
I want to
Everything
see,
is
I want to
predicated
see
on
if
money.
cocaine anything became illegal. See what politicians and preachers start selling that shit. See what
They
might
want to
be
know
doing
where the money went at that's supposed to went to the opiate epidemic. I mean,
You know they ain't
where
gonna
the
tell. They
money
ain't gonna
at?
tell us the
Where-
In
truth.
somebody's
Yeah.
pocket, probably.
And COVID happened.
One of them $1 million houses, one of these fucking
They're
politicians.
gonna flip the money from COVID, money that's coming
gonna
in.
flip it.
Exactly.
And they only tell us about no matter what the epidemic, the pandemic, whatever. They only tell us what they want us to know about any situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if we talking about drugs. We talking about this sicknesses. Like even when AIDS came out, they only tell us what they want us to know. To
Right.
keep us worried. To keep us sitting up here trying to find
Right.
ways of spending like. Everything.
They need shit to happen to
It's
make
control
more money.
chaos.
Yeah.
It's control chaos. That's all it is, man.
It is control.
Yeah.
So we are at almost 2 hours and a half now.
What?
And I ain't say nothing. Y'all been
And
talking.
you know what?
Y'all been talking. I
So-
ain't say nothing.
So the title of the show is Life After Lockup. So what issue you guys are doing, and then I think we're gonna end the show. What are you doing since leaving the jail situation? What are you doing now? You want to start with you, Will?
I'm doing mixed station radio.
We gonna keep it simple.
That's what I'm doing, and I do. I'm back to recording again, doing my music with the band. Mixed station is probably the thing that helped me to do life after jail,
Okay.
after corrections, because when you gave me the opportunity I didn't know it was gonna grow as big as it did.
Okay.
And look at us now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? 4 years and
Yeah.
what a blessing to be on a platform where we're reaching the whole world, and that is the key. That we're
Yeah.
changing lives. Everybody, you can do whatever on here. We just don't want no people on here that do devil worshiping. We not promoting that. But whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. And Mixed Station is here for the churches. We here for everybody.
Yeah, it don't matter
and
what
it
you
doesn't
do.
matter, man. I just thank God that we're at the place where we are, that now we can have this conversation. I've been wanting to do this show forever, and I probably will do another show, more the fact so we really get deep in and driving. But we talked about a lot.
Everything, yeah.
Everything tonight. Y'all went from politics. I ain't even had to lead the conversation.
Yeah,
it was
just
y'all show
natural,
tonight.
natural
And
flow.
that's what Mixed Station is about. I just like to thank all of y'all for being tonight.
Yeah,
but,
coming, definitely.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing. I love you all.
Thank you.
You know, especially my man Jerry. We was clients back in the day, and to see.
He trying to
brothers-
say Jerry was his inmate, y'all. Goddamn client.
He always got to. He
always got a pretty word. That nigga was on the tear. I'm a real brother. I'm the hood nigga.
He always got to.
You're real nice about it. It's okay.
You know, and we had, matter of fact, we had 2 other cats that were my clients.
Yeah, yeah.
Who had a show here. Hopefully
Yeah.
they come back.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. We might can zoom them in one day.
Yeah, we probably can zoom them in. They were from Washington, D.C. But God is good for me to see these brothers who I remember writing the passes for.
Yeah.
And say, you going to the hospital? Okay, here you go. And I'm all scared. They see me on my first day when I was scared, and all those things, and to be the man of God that I am today. Thank God that I stayed true to myself. Because if I one of them crooked dudes and my life was all crazy, Jared wouldn't talk to me. He
What you
wouldn't
mean?
talk
What you
to
mean?
me.
One of them dudes that brought that thing up?
Yeah,
Let's keep it
Or
real.
real cruddy beating people up and all that.
Man, you gotta whip some ass sometime.
I did. I mean, we had to fight. That was the bottom line. You
But
had to stand your
It was
ground.
no.
I ain't
it
never,
was
I
no
ain't never had that
equal-
problem. Every guard I met
Right.
with me was cool.
That's because you're a cool dude. You're a for real dude.
Right, it's certain
you know
dudes
for real.
that
Certain
just-
dudes that just
Yeah,
didn't
you
like
gotta
me
fuck
just
them up.
because.
You got might have to
I had
smack
my
'em up.
scarf on. They
You
said,
know what
no,
I'm
we don't
saying?
like this scarf. It went from every jail, from the annex to central laundry. It was about my scarf. They just had something with my scarf. Oh, you think you
They probably
took that
nutted on
motherfucker off.
They probably nutted on the motherfucker. They probably wanted to jerk off on that motherfucker or something.
Hell, I got knuckles. I got them now. And niggas, they would steal my scarf. If I laid my scarf down, it'd be gone.
Shit, they inmates. What the
All
fuck you
inmates ain't
expect?
bad inmates.
You know, it could be inmates and guards that steal.
Yeah.
Real talk.
They wanted my
Shit.
cashmere,
It's
so
that
I
environment,
had to stop, wearing expensive scarves in there. So I got
Yeah.
dollar scarves and all that. But the jail has told me to be assertive. It told me to mean what I say. Be more aggressive. I must say that the jail has really told me to grow up.
Yeah.
And to really deal with the spiritual realm in the jail. Like I was talking about Bishop Sanders in the beginning. She was the one that told me to speak to the atmosphere. I had to do that a lot at the annex because it was just so much evil. It was just evil. Every time I dreamed in that place, it was just evil. Every time I went to sleep, it was
Right.
evil. Every dream was just evil. Something crazy off the gun. I wish Doug would have called in, but because
Yeah.
Doug Carrington's the
Yeah,
one that
you know-
came in with me. We started at the same time, and a
Sound
lot
like
of
he was in lines then, my friend.
yeah, man, we was definitely in the lines, and they kept us in A building, like the worst place to be. When they were doing Dookie, my name was, I'm not gonna say what my name was, but it was a little whatever. So what Marcus did, but
Why you gotta keep bringing that shit up, man?
yeah, because you famous, you know, you in the
No,
history
I'm not
books.
famous. I'm famous for being caught. That's what the fuck I'm famous
Well,
for.
you've been in court too for all of that, so you know.
No, they
but-
just assumed. They assumed. They ain't seen you do nothing. They assumed
They
you did.
allegedly thought
They
that you
allegedly
did it.
thought you did.
Yeah,
Right.
somebody told that didn't like me, but we leave that alone.
Yeah, it's all good.
But that's why I just thank y'all for being. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Ralph.
Yeah, well, after 18 and a half years at the Baltimore City Jail, I think the first couple of months, I just sat in the house and looked at the wall and did pretty much nothing. I had to, de-escalate.
Yeah, you had to, man.
Because it was traumatizing.
Yes,
and
it was.
when you come from an environment filled with so much intensity, and now you're home and you don't have to look over your shoulder,
Oh,
and
my
you don't
God,
have to
boy.
go to a code, and you have to realize you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, man.
So after a couple of months home, I finally got myself together, and I decided to go to work. And I ended up in Johns Hopkins Hospital on the psych ward and the emergency room, which
I'm talking about.
Which is
That's
like
just
part
like
two.
being with
Right,
me.
part two.
part two. So the good thing about that is that while I was working at Johns Hopkins, I was working on my book, CO,
Okay,
The True Story of the
cool.
Baltimore City Jail, which was the first book.
Which I
ever
kept
written.
telling him to write for a long
You
time.
kept telling me
In
to
the
write it for a
jail.
long time
In
in
the
the jail.
I said, boy,
Right.
you need to write a book about this shit.
And
See what I'm saying? And look,
And while I was writing that book, it took me 2 years to write it. So while I was writing the book, I was working at Johns Hopkins, and I was also going down to the city council meetings down at City Hall
Okay.
because I, just wanted to know what was going on, why our city is the way it is, who the leaders. So I started going to those meetings every Monday and writing a book. When the book was published, I resigned from Johns Hopkins because I went on tour, and the book was very successful. Did some docudramas with BET, TV One, and I was still getting heavily involved into politics. And sooner or later, I found myself testifying down at City Hall, and the jail book really put me on a political platform because jail is political.
Right.
And people in politics wanted to know about jail, so I was doing the radio shows, whole 9 yards, and I was still engulfing myself pretty much into politics. Then, when the scandal, the worst sex and corruption scandal in the history of corrections broke out.
No, the scandal that they know about.
Right there.
I think the house was worse than y'all, but we're going to leave that alone.
Okay, right. At the jail, the one that they know about.
Know about, right.
And when that scandal broke out in 2013, I had just retired 2012, and folk thought that my book, CO, was about that. But it actually was a history about all the jails. So I said it's not about that. So then I started going down to the trials at the federal building. And then I got caught up in that for about like 6 months. So I said, well, wow, let me go ahead and write that book. I mean, because it was like it could be a good money maker. And also the thing that we were talking about was how the state was complicit of hiring those 18-year-olds in 2000 or 2002. And we were telling them that you can't do that. These are 18-year-olds, and they just getting out of high school. They're going to be ate up. And most of there were 23 women and 4 men, 27 correctional officers, and 23 of them were women, and most of them came from that 18-year-old class.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So I was saying it was the state of Maryland's fault just as much as theirs for putting them in that position to save a little bit of money. So I wrote the book, The Indictments, and that got a lot of acclaim to put me on the map a little bit. And during this time, I'm getting real heavy involved in the politics, and I'm working with different politicians. I'm campaigning for different people. I'm writing speeches for people. I'm giving speeches. So I'm like a full-blown politician. And one of the things I really wanted to do to put my name on the map in the city, and I read the city charter, I read the consent decree. I mean, I was doing things that people would come to me and call me as if I was a politician.
Wow.
So I knew so much of it because right about now, from 2012 to up until now, I'm involved in politics. I said I'm gonna go ahead and run for mayor because I literally know everything about local government in Baltimore and the scheme in whole 9 yards. So I said I'm gonna use all my knowledge from the jail, all my experience from the streets, all my knowledge of the city, and I'm going to run for mayor of Baltimore because I realized that it's a certain demographic of Baltimoreans that's being neglected, and that's why you have so much crime and murder, because those areas are conducive to crime and murder. And I ran for mayor of Baltimore. Great experience. Now I'm a voter registration volunteer.
Okay.
And I want to get more people to vote to register to vote in Baltimore because, again, 68% of the population do not vote, so it's going to be a lot of equity and disparity. And that's where I am now. And I ended up as a guest on you guys' show.
Yeah, mixed station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ain't the first time he came through, though.
It ain't.
Right.
He came through when we first started here
Wow.
with Apple.
Let me
Yeah.
get one of the
okay,
books.
With Apple,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get one of the books. You helped put
Yeah.
me on the. This
Yeah.
mix station helped put me on the map
Yeah,
and
well,
interviewed me
Yeah.
about one of those books and when the book was hot at the time.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Well, you need to give Mix Station some of that money.
Proceeds, son.
Proceeds. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
Well, first off, I'm gonna say, I mean, coming from different aspects, one thing I can say about the guards versus the inmates, people say what they want. The guards are damn near inmates when they're in there too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
Y'all subject to the same shit the inmates are subject
Yes,
to.
we were.
Yeah.
It's just that some know how to act and some don't.
Some of them just go
You know
crazy.
what I mean? Just like some inmates know how to have sense and some don't. Just because you cage you don't mean you got to act like an animal.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, I mean, but from my different times being locked up, what I just learned, what I really learned is the value of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You learn, like, I listen to it because I'm a street person, but I can't stand to hear. The best thing that ever happened to me is get out of parole and probation. Sitting there waiting to go see that ignorant ass parole officer because they already got chip on their shoulder.
You gonna green
And then,
outside?
yeah, and then you hear all these free people talking about the jail. I don't want to hear that shit. We free. Why?
Yeah.
First of all, I believe sometimes we can speak shit into existence.
Oh, hello.
You know what I'm saying?
Confess.
So when you constantly talk about that
talking
shit,
something good
shit
right there.
happen.
You talking.
It's things that, like I say, I might have wrote in songs and shit that end up coming to life. Sometimes you can speak
Yeah.
shit into existence.
It does.
So like being free, being locked up, it just make you. Certain people like me, made me value freedom. I ain't doing too much shit that's gonna put me in them places. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not about being scared. I can do push-ups at home. I can draw pictures at home. Any guards will tell you last time I was over there in old section. Oh, that motherfucker drew my whole cell was artwork. Artwork and raps. They used to come, the guards just come in just to read and look at the pictures.
Yeah.
I can do that shit home.
Yeah.
Why am I sitting in some dirty ass place to live my life? You know what I'm saying?
So
and
true.
like, and by the great God, man, God bless, I ain't doing everything I should do. I be procrastinating.
None of us not.
I probably have a show with him. Long time
Yes,
ago.
you do. Yes, you do.
I'm gonna stop playing.
Yeah,
But I'm
stop
saying,
playing, yes.
But my thing is like, by the grace of God, I teach for Baltimore City Public Schools.
Yes,
you
you
know
do.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
I got a part-time job. Well, like I said, I deliver for Amazon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do artwork. I got a T-shirt printing company, a small
Yes, you
T-shirt
do.
company. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of things to keep me busy. When I leave here, I'm going right across the street. There's a snowball stand over there. That picture on there, I'm painting that right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I anything for us art and stuff. Like I told y'all, I'm working on a book. I have a couple books I supposed to have been done. I've been bullshitting.
Okay.
But this one I'm really gonna work on. Like I said, the one broke because of me. That's I really need something. Just I really
That's a
need to
good
write
title,
that.
man. That's
I really
an
need to
awesome
write that because
title.
it's going to. So and now I just met this man right here. And he said
You
he went
already
from-
know.
So now
There you
first
go.
thing I'm
Yeah.
politic
He
with
gonna
him, and he
put
might
you-
help me
yeah,
out
yeah.
fast.
Oh, he gonna put you
know what I'm
down.
saying?
And
But
beyond.
my thing
Yeah.
is like I just ask everybody, man, like when we go through these things in life, take these experiences and try to make better because we go through things to grow. And I just think that I may still be procrastinating in some areas, but it made me grow. Like I don't think a couple dollars is worth me being in prison.
So true.
You know, and then there's a lot of times I went to jail and I wouldn't even talk about like stuff I didn't even do. Like I told you the stuff that when the judge was like, "How you get past?" It wasn't me,
Yeah.
but I ain't gonna tell on no fucking body.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, man, I just hope that some of the stuff I did learn and stuff like I can tell one of these kids. If I can get one kid to just think different, I've done my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we got to worry about what we go through. Okay, we may have changed, or things may help us grow, but then when we still going into the same fucking environments, and it's like they always say, it's easy to get in trouble, it's hard to get out.
Yes.
And if you
sir.
notice something in life, and I noticed this for myself, I'm a testament about. Motherfuckers don't start testing you until you're trying to do something different.
So
The same
true.
motherfuckers that ain't say nothing to you in the streets, nothing that when you was out there doing your thing. soon as they see you change, then somebody want to talk slick out their mouth
Right.
and
Yep.
all that shit. So,
That's true.
so you get tested again. So now, are you great enough to avoid these testing? You know what I mean? Because I know me, it's things I would never say on what's the name?
Right.
I know what. It's not hard to put somebody back to that breaking point. You know what I'm
not.
saying? You know, and then, but at the end of the day, like I say, when we was talking about people, gotta find something to live for. Before I do something stupid, I think about that 18-year-old girl that's my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I think about my 18-year-old niece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that call me for, like, okay, they can't call me in prison. And then the times have changed. I don't want to be in them places. That shit's different.
It is
It's
different.
different,
now.
and nobody has, I mean, but it's like, I just hope anybody that go through something come home, man. I don't give a fuck if you was an addict and got locked up from using drugs, or you was selling drugs, or you did something. You get a chance to start over. Start over, man. New beginning, man.
There you
Because
go.
the only way we're going to get better is if we think bigger. We think brighter. You know what I'm saying? We think about things that can elevate us instead of that streets ain't gonna elevate us. That shit just gonna
True
bring
that.
you down.
It will.
You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I mean, that's why I learned to value myself more, basically.
My man. All right, Jared, you like the last word.
For me, man, when my mindset changed, man, my behavior changed.
Yeah.
And with my behavior change, things around me change. And I start to see things in a different light,
Right.
especially myself. When I forgave myself for my past, it opened up great opportunities and new doors for me, man. Great possibilities.
Yeah.
Because I was holding myself to what I did back then, and I couldn't get past it. But once I forgave myself, I was able to break free from that and move on. Today, I am a peer recovery coach on the clock and off the clock. I help people get into treatment.
Yes, you do.
Whether on the clock or off the clock, this is what I do.
You help people.
I'm an interventionist. I will come to your house and have an intervention with your family member, your friend, whatever, to help them get into treatment. I'm a motivational speaker.
Yes, you are.
The greatest gift God has given me is to speak life into people, man, and to the hearts and the minds of people, man. Uplift them, tell them where they are now, they won't always be.
Yeah.
That they can get up from where they are. That's what I do. I speak life into people, man. When a certain group of people come to me from my past that people discriminate against and say they'll never be nothing, they ain't gonna make it, they're gonna always do the same thing, I say, no, they not. You don't know that. You know what I mean? Because even if they got a desire to change, man, you never know when a miracle gonna happen for them.
You never
You
know.
just don't know. You can't count nobody out. Nobody.
It's funny you say that.
You can't count nobody out, man. I was on the subway one day, man, and the dude was drunk. And everybody, he was just talking trash. You know how drunk people do.
I know.
And then what came out of his mouth next was profound. He said, when you got God, you got everything.
That's it.
And everybody turned around and looked at him. So for that moment, God used him for,
Used
that,
him for
moment.
that moment.
Ain't no telling who God can use,
That's true.
man, at any given time.
You right.
I am filled with humility and gratitude. I'm associated pastor. I said
Yes,
under
you
a
are.
pastor.
Yes, you do.
But I ain't better than nobody. I
That's
need
true.
God more now than I did when I was using drugs.
Yes, sir.
I need
yes,
him
sir.
more now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because ain't
sir.
no telling what situation I find myself in. I still got to be careful.
Yes, you do.
I got to tread light.
Yes,
how
sir.
I treat people determines how God going to treat me. My life has changed
Yes.
dramatically for the better. So this is how God got me giving back. I'm in my purpose now. I
You in your
love what I
purpose.
do. I'm in
That's
my
it.
purpose.
I love what I do.
I love what I do.
Yes, sir.
And they allowed me to get paid for it.
Yes, you do get paid for it. Yes, you do.
That's the key.
Yes, you do. You make that money. We ain't gonna tell you where we make that money at, but we're gonna leave that alone. But
Yeah, do I get to go?
oh yeah, well you ain't say go ahead.
put you
Like I wasn't in the system.
See the
You were in the system, brother. Yeah.
Dang.
Go ahead, Marcus. You
Well-
go next.
well, with me,
you got the last word. My fault.
Yeah, well, with me, the best thing happened to me was shit.
Yes, we know that,
It sounds funny,
but it's the truth.
but
Yes.
let me change it. Shit have changed me.
yes, it has.
Let's say that because where I was when I do shit,
Yes, sir.
to get me through shit. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, yeah.
Literally.
It made me discover who I am because I always been in the parties, been always into that,
That's true.
into that
Right,
thing,
right.
doing what I do, being young, being creative. And when you go through shit, sometimes you become out to be a diamond. You know what I'm saying? So it had forced me to create something that can change the world and give other people voices to be their self. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like being yourself.
Good,
Yes,
sir.
man. Yes.
Real
I
talk.
ride that one home with you.
Ain't nothing like being yourself.
So true.
And being true to yourself.
Be true to who you
You
are.
know what I'm saying? Because if I probably would have stayed in shit at the jail because of my attitude and how I carry
This
people,
would not happen.
this would not happen.
This is so true.
Because
Station
I'm
would
a
not
funny
be
dude and sometimes I may say some shit that may fuck up some people's heads and they get mad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the greatest person in the world, you know. Never have tried to be, but when you young like I was when I first started in the jail, I was very young and off the chain. I came from hustling
Straight
to
to
being a
that.
CEO.
Yeah.
Real talk. I mean,
That's why it's
I
called the lab.
told Ralph and all of them.
Yeah.
When I said, yo, I used to hustle with these cats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it changed me. It made me a man. You know what I'm saying? And, I was always trying to be like, all right, what I'm going to do next? From selling CDs to this,
yes,
that.
you was out there
what I'ma
selling
do
CDs,
next?
boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you was.
And I used to always tell Ralph, man, you need to write a book about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to have like real talks
Yeah.
Talk.
over
Yeah.
JI, even over Stillside. We had real man-to-man talks.
Yes, sir.
Like if they knew I was doing something fucked up, they would pull me up. Like
That's-
dudes would check
That's
me.
it, man. That's what's supposed
You know what I'm
to be.
saying? The old
You have that now.
and when I came in,
Yeah, they ain't
yeah,
checking
and when I
nobody.
came in, it was like a lot of old school guys.
That's true.
But still
Me too.
in the jail.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? So I got schooled from the old school guys, but I was a new school kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had to prove myself.
Like we all did.
You know what I'm saying? I had to go through a lot of certain situations, and
Yeah, like
you
we
know,
all did.
but
Yeah.
but the best thing, like I said, happened to me was shit
Yeah.
to get me through shit. You know what I'm saying?
You need to write that book.
I had to really realize that, because I had to like, all right, I do shit. I gotta claim that. That's what I
you
did.
did own it. You did.
You know what
own
I'm
it.
saying?
You
But
did
at
own
the
it.
same time, it made me a better person. Made me do things bigger than where I was.
Was that a quid? Was that a
funny?
was that
throwing
a
shit on
was that a quid pro quo thing? Because I think
I ain't saying
that you
nothing.
gotta try
I'm
to throw
pleading
something on
the
you
fifth.
first, right?
Right.
Yeah, he definitely got me.
Right.
He definitely got
you
me.
first.
Right.
He didn't get me good, but he got me
got
good
it.
enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a prideful type dude. And I always told Ralph that. I said, Ralph, if anybody ever shit me down,
You
Yeah.
gonna get him.
I said that's gonna be the last day I fucking work here.
And
I
it
remember
pretty
the
much
night it
was.
happened. They was on C shift, right?
Yeah.
Or going in the.
there?
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I think I was.
But he
deciding
got me a couple days before that.
Right.
So we
Right.
were
Waited
planning
a
for the
couple days.
weekend.
Right.
We had
Right.
it all set up. I ain't gonna lie. My niggas, we had it set up.
Yeah.
Because
But-
I remember that night when I walked on the section because it was on B section.
Yeah.
You were coming off, and I was like, God, damn, how is that, Nick? Nick said, man, I'm out of here, man. I did what I had to do. I said, what the fuck? And when I went back there, main man had it in his eye, in his mouth. For real? Yeah. I was like, God.
Yeah, but I had to get my manhood back.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst thing that anything can happen to
And it
a
ain't your
person.
manhood, it's our egos, man.
Yeah, it's an ego.
It's our ego.
You know, I'm not going.
But at the same time, you don't know what was in that shit he threw at you.
Yeah, he ain't know what was in my
I'm
shit.
saying, but I'm saying, anything, you know what I mean? When we think about disease and stuff these days,
Right.
you don't know. And half the motherfuckers, they sick in there. You don't know what, anything could happen.
And that was that premature environment at the jail.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
became like them. I ain't gonna lie, I became like them.
Yes, you did.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what
I
I
think
said.
we
earlier.
all did.
A lot of
Yeah,
y'all
we
see,
all did.
a lot of y'all COs
Definitely
become just
all
like
did.
the inmates because you locked up with them.
Yeah,
We
you
did.
become that at a
You
point.
become that. You said that earlier too. Sometimes you become your environment.
Yeah.
And
that's all to
what
it.
he
And I
did.
thank God that I'm changed.
Yes, you are.
We don't like
know
the fact
what
that
I'm
y'all the guards outrun the inmates now. It's only two of us and three of y'all.
No. It supposed to been another person, but it was two people that we supposed to have here, Bubbles and Jared. But
Man, you
we
guys
gonna
on
talk,
a high level, man. You guys doing some good stuff, man. I appreciate the change that you all have made, man, because I'm pretty sure y'all going to influence a lot of other guys that's coming home.
But to be honest, I mean, like, and I give it to, like I say, a couple COs helped me, like, it was a lady there, Officer Henson. She was, she just like.
Yeah, I know Miss Henson.
Yeah, you know Henson. She was at CFL.
She was like, she helped, like, that was the first time I was over.
Wow.
She got, like, when I first got, that's how I met her. We became cool. Like, when I went to boot camp, like, Sergeant Woodward, man, like.
Because she was, right. She was, yeah.
And when I went to boot camp, like, Sergeant Woodward, we friends to this day. Like, they helped guide me in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they show people, like, they made me show that every guard don't look at inmates like they fucking animals, man.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one thing I can say about them two particular guards. They made me see that all of y'all don't look at everybody as animals, man.
Yeah.
You know, because you got some of us is like, fuck it, you an inmate, fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is messed up, bro.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Well,
Because you don't never know somebody's situation.
I must say this has been a wonderful conversation. It's been long overdue. We'll have some more conversations because a lot of officers said now they want to come on. So,
now, you know what I'm saying? That's how it is. You know?
It is.
But when y'all probably want them to come on, ain't nothing.
They bullshit.
It is. Because the whole idea is that it's about truth. In Mixed Station, we hear about truth. Our main focus here is that people live a fully balanced, godly life.
Man, that's that social media
that's
shit. They just want to be on. They just want to be.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey.
Well, anytime Nick call, ask him to come out, whatever I'm doing, I'm definitely going to come out because I definitely respect this brother.
Yeah, and anytime Ralph called me and said, Nick, I need you to do da-da-da.
Yeah, you there.
It's nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You there. And I must say, meeting Jerry again after all those years, because I haven't seen Jerry since the annex. Wow. And that was, you talking about before... You talking about this before I left? Yeah. Cause I think was you there doing the rides too?
I wasn't there doing the riot.
So you left. You came after.
Sound like he was disappointed. And shit.
I was just trying to figure out.
Yeah, cause the rides happened in '97. Happened in '97. So you came after '97 then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cause you was everywhere else.
I was in C-Dorm.
You was in C-Dorm.
I was in C-Dorm. I was a kitchen worker.
Yep, you was a kitchen worker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just to go back.
You know what? It feel good when you can still fellowship with people who you dealt with in the jail. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of guys every day.
Marcus,
like Nick. Yo, you saved my life. And sometimes you don't even know it.
Marcus, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I had a dude, and Jared know him. That he said the inmates was gonna kill him at the annex, and I was on the tail. I got drafted. Normally I would get drafted and work with that
that's
shit.
when shit always happens.
And I'm doing it, and so
that's when I got shit down.
Yeah.
On a fucking draft.
You know, and I'm like, and the dude came to me years later at Central Laundry and said, Nichols, man, you saved my life, dog. A lot of the older cats that came from the annex that saw me at Central Laundry gave me so much respect. And even when they see me outside, I remember one time I was with Jeremiah, my son, and the dude said, man, your father, man, he's a straight up dude. Dudes who knew my character.
Yeah.
That I wasn't trying to be built like I'm the tough dude. No. All I just said was no all the daggone time. That's all I said. Because I definitely sure didn't talk to nobody. Yeah. I'm like, no. It was saying, no, because you always saying no. Yup, I'm going to say no before I say yes. But they made me who I am.
Yeah.
They made me assertive. They made me stronger. No, mean what you say. If you ain't going to get to do something, don't give it to them. Mean it. It is what it is. No, I'm not doing it. Well, no, because I'm going to do. Okay, fine. We just get to that point. You do what you do. But the whole idea, man, I just thank God that to see Jerry and a lot of the other cats who was with me back then, who saw me mature, who saw me become the man that I am. Because jail is the reason why I am what I am.
Yeah.
You know, and especially with you, because you followed me into the jail right after. Reginald Oliver did the same thing. A whole bunch of cats. You know, because who would have thought I would have been a correctional officer? That was not my plan. My plan was to sing gospel music.
Yeah, you know, my plan was to play football.
Yeah, play football. And, you know, and so I just thank God where we are. So we're going to end this show. We've been here for a minute. And we just thank God. We thank everybody for joining us today. And, hey, we're going to re-air this show. We just thank y'all for being here. Yeah, you good, man?
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you had everything over there, so you know. I'm gonna put the music on when we going out. All right, y'all. Be blessed.
All right.
Hey, Nick, take a picture of us three real quick.
Yeah, definitely.